You are watching ABC's continuing coverage of the GOP debate tonight in New Hampshire.
Oh, okay, so please don't fucking jump down my fucking throat on this bullshit. I'm personally pro-life, okay? I'm not an abortion person, okay? I hate saying pro-life. I'm anti-abortion for the most part. But if you're going to have a state that has abortion legal, what people have tried to do, please, oh my God, this is really complicated to talk about. You have to turn on your big boy thinking hat for a second, okay? And you have to pull yourself out of literal fucking sentences, and you have to look at the intentions behind the rules that people put in place, okay? When people put in place rules where you have to consult your doctor in order to get an abortion, where they have to show you pictures of the fetus and tell you about the development of your baby before you get an abortion, where you have to notify parents before you get an abortion as a teenager, right? The reason why these laws are put in place, somebody in chat said, well, isn't the parents' insurance when they pay for it? The reason why these laws are put in place isn't because they're trying to give people more protection or whatever. These laws are put in place to discourage abortions. These laws are put in place to put more roadblocks and more barriers in front of somebody before procuring an abortion, okay? If we're going to have abortion legal in a state, then you should be able to get it, no questions asked, period. Not this, you have to go to this person for permission, you have to have this person to show you charts and graphs of how your baby looks in your belly, you don't have to go to this person to get them to sign off on it, like, end of discussion. If abortion is illegal, which I disagree with, or illegal, which I disagree with, but it is, if abortion is legal, then you should be able to go and get it, no questions asked, and that's it. None of the bullshit jumping through hoops and playing the games where, well, yeah, it's legal, but before you do it, you have to go and listen to this guy tell you how your baby's hand would feel in yours before you vacuum him out of your vag, you know? Like, that's...
And that's a huge issue here in New Hampshire. So you think Christie out of all of them is really impressive?
Definitely, yeah.
All right, great.
God.
Well, thank you so much. I'll send it back to you, Amna and Devin, live here in Manchester.
All right, the terrific Josh Haskell there at St. Anselm's University with a great crowd. And you saw a cameo there from Brad Milkey, our New Hampshire guy for ABC News. He's camped out up there. You can follow him on the ABC News.
I don't understand how you can say that. While I am a pro-choice person, I think it should be a serious decision to make, as it's not a trivial matter to choose to end a human life, in my opinion. I totally disagree. If you are pro-abortion, then ending the fetus's life should be insanely trivial. It should be like any other decision you'll ever make, like going into the fucking dentist. If you are okay with the woman terminating a pregnancy, then that's because you don't believe that a fetus is a human, which is fine. I guess it's your right to believe that. I don't think I could present a strong argument to convince you otherwise. But if you don't think a fetus is a human, then you just go and you terminate it. It's not a huge deal at all. It shouldn't be a big deal at all. You fucking go in, you take care of it, and you're fucking done. You don't think no second thoughts about it. If you think that aborting a fetus is a huge issue that requires a lot of contemplation, you really have to think about it, then it feels like you're saying, hey, the fetus probably actually is a human life, so I need to think really hard before murdering it. I'm not really comfortable with that. That it seems like you're trying to ride the line like too many different ways there. Like, oh, like fetuses are definitely human, so we need to think really hard before we go to the doctor and fucking kill it. Either if you're pro-abortion, then you think that the fetus isn't a person, which is whatever you think, and then you go and you terminate it, which is fine, or you think it is a person, in which case you usually err on the side of, okay, well, abortions are probably a moral, error. Like, it's not something you should do unless, the mother's life is in danger or something like that. Yeah, Abermuffin, yeah, sure. In reality, it isn't always that black and white. The emotional impact varies from person to person. But do you understand what you're saying there? Like, I would have an emotional impact thinking whether or not I wanted to kill like a 1 or 2 year old son. Like if Nathan was 6 months old and he was crying all the fucking time, he's really fucking annoying. Which if he was sick, he would. For the most part, he's okay. But if he was sick, you fucking cry all the time. Like, holy fuck! Like I really just want to fucking kill him. But man, that's a big decision to make. Like I'm gonna have to sit here and think. Like Jesus fuck! Like should I really kill my 6-month-old son? Like I don't know. Fuck! Like yeah, we'll fucking do it. Take him out back. Fucking get out the fucking Mosin. Shoot him up. Bury him. Oh man, it's still pretty big emotional, but we did it, right? like that sounds fucked up, right? It sounds fucked up. If there's like a huge emotional or moral thing that you have to contemplate before getting an abortion, then I feel like you're starting to make some concessions that maybe you're actually killing a person, which is the side that I stand on, right? Which is why I'm anti-abortion. I think the term pro-life and pro-choice is really fucking stupid. I think you're either pro or anti-abortion. Dude, I fucking hate this fucking lame-ass fucking mission. Fuck my shit and cuck my dick, fam.
Good copy.
Yeah, good copy. You can move on. You can move on this dick. Oh, yeah.
Location confirmed. Moving out. Got it covered. Overwatch on Overwatch.
Do you agree that abortion should be legal? Me personally? No, I don't think so, no. But that's because I'm anti-abortion. But that's like my moral choice. I don't know, like realistically, can you really outlaw abortion? Like people will get it anyway, no? I don't know.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Destiny, I have returned. I missed you, Mate. Can I be the medic memer on your XCOM team to feels?
I love you, buddy. How is it okay? How is being okay with abortion in the case of rape consistent with their position in life? It's not. Personally, I don't think rape has anything to do with being pro or against abortion. I don't understand how it ever even factors into the conversation. It doesn't, and it shouldn't. Rape babies are the same as normal babies. I don't understand. Whether you're morally for or against it, it should have no bearing. People that say that they're anti-abortion, except in the case of like rape, are people that are too scared to really take a hard stand on it, I think. I don't understand how anybody can be anti-abortion, but if it was a rape baby, that person can be, but it doesn't make any sense.
Everyone. New Hampshire, please give me a chance to carry this message forward to the United States of America. And then I will come back. Thank you, loved it, and God bless you.
Governor Christie.
Thank you. I've spent the last 13 years of my life focused on one thing: serving the people who have given me the opportunity to serve them. Not about politics, not about partisanship, but about putting the people of my state and our country first. I'm proud to have stood on the front lines of fighting the war on terrorism after September 11th. I'm proud to have rebuilt my state after Hurricane Sandy. And I'm incredibly proud to be on this stage tonight with these men asking for your vote. New Hampshire, I've spent 70 days here with you. You've gotten to know my heart. My heart is to help you solve the problems of your state and the problems of our nation. If you give me your vote on Tuesday, I will do just that.
I want to thank the people of New Hampshire, and I want to celebrate the birthday of a great president. Ronald Reagan would have been 105 today. And President Reagan believed in the future of our country, believed in its greatness, had a hopeful, optimistic message, drew people towards our cause. We need someone who has a proven record to take our case to the American people, because our philosophy is by far the best one, of limited government, of entrepreneurial capitalism, of peace through strength. I believe I have the skills to take our party to victory in November. I ask for your support on Tuesday to keep America and make America safer, stronger, and freer. Thank you all very much.
Dr. Carson.
For many months, the political class, pundits, the media have tried to ignore or bury me. They say that politics is too complex and too sleazy. You can't survive. Well, guess what? I'm still here, and I'm not going anyplace either. And I believe there is still a place in our country for faith, integrity, and common sense. Hundreds of thousands of you drafted me to run for president, and I am going to, with the help of God and you, once again place the American people at the pinnacle with the government there to serve it.
Thank you.
Dr. Carson. Senator Rubio.
You know, this week I had the great pleasure of having my kids join me on the campaign trail. I hadn't seen them in a while. And it was great to have them alongside me, but the most important part of it is that it once again reminded me of what's at stake here in New Hampshire in less than 72 hours. We are literally deciding what kind of country we will be like when they're my age, what kind of country they will be able to raise their families in. And that's why I'm asking you for your vote. You vote for me, and we will unite this party. We will grow the conservative movement. We will defeat Hillary.
I don't think I want to go down this path right now because I don't think most people are equipped to have this conversation. Destiny, I think the issue is that, what somebody said. Your view on it is very black and white. I think the quality of life for that mother and the child should be a factor. I don't understand why people say that. Like, go up to like a 10-year-old or 11-year-old and say like, hey, your life is really shitty. Don't you think it would have been better if you would have just been aborted? Like, how many people do you think would say yes to that? First of all, whatever percentage that number is, it's not 100% of kids that would say yes. Is it really your right to make the decision for that person? Like, you know what, dude? Honestly, your life is probably going to be pretty shitty. I'm just going to fucking kill you now to like get it over with. Also, if you're pro-abortion, like any argument that you make for a fetus could just as well be made for a 6 to 12-month-old child, for a 6-year-old child, 6 months. So all these people in chat that are like, well, what if the mother can't support it? And wow, they're going to have such a miserable life. Sure. I mean, I agree. Those are all definitely potential scenarios, right? Why not be able to say the same thing for a kid less than 2 years old? They can't even see themselves in a fucking mirror. They don't even have self-awareness yet. Why can't you abort like a 1-year-old child? Like, can you give me a good reason why you can't abort a 1-year-old child, but you could abort a 6-month-old fetus? Can anybody like you can give me all these arguments like, oh well, like should you be forced to like take care of this kid if you can't do it? Like, what if your lives could be miserable? Yeah, I mean those are all totally valid reasons to have an abortion. Sure, I agree if that's what you want to say, but why couldn't you say the same thing for a child that's already born? Like, and everybody in chat's like, oh no, because you want to be like emotional about it, but in reality, like it's more or less like the same thing. Like, are you against contraceptives? No, I'm not against contraceptives. Are you fucking retarded? What? That's actually the second like really fucking retarded thing you've said. Softlight asked me earlier if gay people should be allowed to vote. What about the greater good to society? Yeah, but you have to ask yourself, like, when you talk about how the ends justify the means, what people don't consider is that the ends often include whatever you use to achieve the means, right? Let's say that you kill 2 people, and killing those 2 people made it so that 4 other people could live well, right? Well, then you say, oh, well, the ends justify the means. You kill 2 and you save 4. But the ends there weren't just saving 4. Part of the ends included that now you've made it okay to kill people to save people, right? That's part of the ends. That's part of what's included in there that nobody ever seems to mention, right? So can you argue that it would be better to kill certain people in order to make society better? Like, yeah, of course, those are totally legitimate arguments, but you can't just stop there then, because you're like, it's such a slippery slope at that point. Like, I mean, like I said, like you could remove 100% of black people from the United States, and the United States in every single way would be better off. It really would be. And that's a really shitty thing to say, but it's true, right? And you can make that argument for a lot of different types of minorities and fucking lower class people. I'm sure that you can make the argument that eliminating every percentage lower from the income would make the United States a better place to do it. And it sounds shitty to say, but it's probably fucking true. So why don't we just do that? Why don't we do it? Because eugenics is bad, because we don't want to set a precedent where we murder people just because they're on a lower rung of society, because we live in a society, a civilized society, where we take care of each other and we watch out for each other, even people that are on lower rungs of society and even people that aren't doing as well as other people. Right? Like, this is what we do as a society. So this idea, this argument that people can make, like, well, shouldn't we do this because it's better for society? There's a lot of things that we could do because it's better for society. Fucking nuking Florida would probably be better for fucking society. It would help fucking Social Security, that's for sure. But we don't do that. Why? Because that's not who we are. Killing people to make other people better off isn't generally the direction that we want to take our society. We've decided a long time ago that things like eugenics are not an acceptable practice to improve how we work as people. Like, I think it's about to be CSGO time.
Heading out.
Playing devil's advocate here, the fetus needs to be attached to the mother while the 2-month-old can be given away for adoption. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. Sure.
That's affirmative. Although they bear some resemblance to the sectoids first encountered during the invasion, Their genetic structure now includes human.
Are you okay with getting Plan B? Fucking listen, me personally, I'm against abortion. So all forms of abortion I'm against. I'm not against contraception. I'm not against masturbating. I just don't like the idea of killing fetuses. It's just not, because for me personally, I don't see the difference between a fetus and a human. They're the same thing to me. So I'm against anything that involves the killing of a fetus. I think Plan B does that. I don't know if Plan B prevents the zygote from forming or if Plan B ejects it afterwards, like early on in a period. I don't remember what it is, but if it does, then like it's a pretty easy like black and white line for me. For me personally, I like morality to be pretty black and white. Like that's enjoyable for me because then it makes decisions very easy and it avoids some relativistic wishy-washy bullshit that lets you flip and flop morals based on whatever's convenient for you at the time. Do we? I don't want to. Fetuses are cells. Humans are fully developed beings. Humans aren't even fully developed though. To what point? A 1-year-old isn't fully. Fucking a 2-week-old baby doesn't even have a fully developed fucking skull. If you press your finger hard enough into them certain spots of their head, you can fucking kill them. Fucking 11-year-old girls aren't fully developed. They don't have fucking boobs. Fucking 12-year-old boys aren't fully developed. They don't have any muscles or they don't have their fucking testicles descended. Fucking 20-year-olds aren't developed because their brains are still forming. I mean, like, what do you want to say? Like. I mean, like, what is fully developed? Like, has made the journey through the vagina? Like, at what point do you become fully developed? Like an 8-month-old fetus isn't fully developed. Are you okay with aborting somebody at 8 months old? Like, what about the mother's rights? Why do we throw away those the instant a fetus exists? Okay, so, and again, it sounds fucking shitty, but like the mother's rights are irrelevant because you're weighing the convenience of one person against the right to life of another person. Like that's how I view the scenario. Like, does it suck that a mother would have to carry a child to full term? Yeah, but it sucks worse to kill somebody because somebody else doesn't want to be inconvenienced by it. It sounds really fucking shitty to say, but I mean, like, if you don't view the fetus as a person, then of course an abortion is a really easy alternative to that. Yeah, fuck the fetus. Why would you force a mother to carry a child to term when she's got a fucking parasitic leech inside of her body? I understand that. If you don't think the fetus is a person, then yeah, abortion is a really fucking easy option there. But for me personally, no, it's really easy to say the opposite. I don't think the convenience of the mother would overweigh the life of the fetus. Destiny, there's a difference between a not fully developed human rather than a not fully developed pack of cells. What do you think you are, dog? How fucking, like, delusional are you to think that you're anything more than a pack of cells? What, you think you got a fucking soul, bro? You think you got a fucking spirit? You think that God has infused you with part of the fucking Holy Spirit? Come on, dog. You're a fucking bundle of cells. All of us are. Every single thing you fucking think, every fucking memory you have can be traced back to some fucking neuron in your brain. You're not special. You're nothing above just a bundle of cells. At every single stage in your life, you are just a collection of cells. Your systems and everything and your organs are more developed the older that you get, but I mean, at what point do you become a developed human being? Like, I mean, come on, dog. A fetus is not self-aware. A 1-year-old isn't self-aware. I don't think a baby can pass the mirror test until they're like 2 years old. Proving the concept of self-awareness in children has always been really difficult. I'm pretty sure that starts at around 2 years old. So can you kill a 1-year-old or a 6-month-old or abort like an 18-month-old kid? I mean, like, if you say yes and you're consistent, then that's cool. I don't really give a fuck. Like, if you're consistent, that's fine. But I just find it very strange that people make the arguments of, well, a fetus isn't fully developed, so you can abort it. But a 6-month-old, what the fuck? A 6-month-old can't do fuck all. What the fuck? Can they even roll over at 6 months? They can't fucking feed themselves. They can't walk. They can't even fucking shit correctly. They have to do it in a diaper. You have to fucking change it. They fucking cry. If they get sick, they'll probably fucking die. 6 months old are fucking worthless. They can't do fuck all on their own. Even 6-year-olds are pretty fucking worthless. Holy shit. People like to pick and choose what is convenient for them. Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. Doesn't, in a way, contraception stop a child from being born just as much as an abortion? No, and if you think that, then you haven't followed any of the conversation so far. I'm not even going to illuminate the difference between those points. Holy shit.
Menace 1-5, you're near the target position.
On my way.
On my way.
I think it's a matter of being able to live on their own without the umbilical cord from the mother in terms of differences between a child and a fetus. Yeah, sure. If that's how you want to define it, then that's fine, dog. But in that case, then abortion should be... Are you okay with aborting people right up to the point of fucking birth? So that means that you can abort an 8-month-old person? If you're okay with that and you're consistent, I mean, that's cool. That's on you, dog. That's your fucking decision. But like for you personally, if you're not comfortable with aborting an 8.5-month-old fetus and your definition of what is an independent human is somebody without an umbilical cord, then you have to stop and wonder, well, fuck, maybe that's not actually my definition. Maybe it's some other arbitrary. And this is what I find when you argue with people, who are pro-choice and you try to, or pro-abortion, and you try to figure out like what is this defining moment of human life, what you find is that very, very, very few people that are pro-abortion actually have an answer. They haven't really thought about it at all. And then you get these weaseling back into like, well, the baby can't even live on their own and blah, blah, blah. And that's why, well, fucking 2-year-olds can't live on their own, dog. Okay, well, they have an umbilical cord attached to the mother. And they go, okay, well, what? So then are you okay with partial birth abortion? Like an 8 or 9-month-old being aborted? Okay, well, it's when the, okay, it's not that. It's when the baby can develop a heartbeat. Or then you go back into all of these weird fucking, and then you find out that like it's totally fucking arbitrary where they think that the right to abort like ends and the, like, I don't know, it's too much autism. There are too many stupid people everywhere. Actually, it's not even, because there are really stupid pro-life people too. I'm not gonna lie. The majority of pro-life people are pro-life for religious reasons, so it's not any better, I guess. Neo Cola, you're talking about the difference between being pro-abortion from like a practical standpoint versus a moral one. We're just talking about morals right now, dog. It has nothing to do with practicality. On a practical point, I probably would be okay with abortion because I don't think you really can stop people from doing it. Not many pro-choicers are pro-abortion. I don't think many people are pro-abortion. Let's just fuck off. You're either pro-abortion or you're against abortion. That's all the argument is about. What the fuck does pro-choice mean? Everybody's fucking pro-choice. Everybody's pro-people making choices. What the fuck does pro-life mean? Everybody's pro-people having life, okay? Nobody's anti-life. Nobody's against life. And nobody's anti-choice. Nobody's against people making choices, okay? You're either pro or anti-abortion. Every other word is a weasel word. Women's body is property of state until no longer pregnant. You realize that my body is property of the state until Nathan turns 18, right? So are you going to tell me that I shouldn't have to pay child support? Because you know I have to pay child support for Nathan until he turns 18 years old. Maybe I should still get the right to abort him? Or does the government own the right to my body? Like, what do you think would be harder, carrying a baby to term and delivering, or having to work for 18 years? What if I just wanted to go and be a homeless dude, and now I don't have the option, or maybe I want to fucking go and move to a different country, and I don't have the option to do that now because I have to pay child support? That's some fucking bullshit. I should be able to abort him until he turns 18, or at least have a financial abortion. Like, what the fuck? Come on, dog.
Scanning. Moving to Overwatch.
Scanning.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Destiny, I'm pro-abortion by numbers alone. I said it.
Nice. Destiny, shouldn't we just let women decide for themselves? Men should stay out of this. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Abortion isn't a women's argument. It's an argument on whether or not you think the fetus is human or not. What the fuck?
Destiny, I can't reconcile abortion in any argument involving logic, but I still feel like abortion should probably be allowed to feel. Does this make me an autistic devil worshipper?
I don't know, dog. Saying that abortion should only be decided by women is like saying that child support should only be decided on men. What? Because what? So I'm the one that has to pay child support, so only men should be the ones that go to Congress and argue whether or not... What? That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's so stupid. Her... We should vote. We should only vote on wars, whether or not, like, only men should be allowed to vote on wars, because we're the only ones that, I guess now women are in the military, so we can't say that anymore. Whew, sweats to me. Do you consider a miscarriage the person killing, the baby killing itself? Yes. Miscarriage to me is fetal suicide, and when I was Catholic, I would honestly believe that miscarried babies are going to hell for committing suicide in the womb. Destiny, literally retarded right now. Okay, Paxa G. I'm inviting you to represent all of chat to come onto Skype right now and argue with me about this. Paxa G. Do you want to do it? Paxa G in Twitch chat. Because I'm literally retarded, so you're going to look really fucking good. You're going to look really good, dude, because you're going to fucking run circles around me in this discussion. Go ahead, Paxa G. Do you want to Skype about this? And you could tell me, because I'm pretty fucking stupid, mate. And you could tell me all the reasons why you think I'm wrong, dog. This is an open mic invitation to you, dog. Do women not have to pay child support? Well, usually it's the dads that run away, so usually men are the ones on the hook for it. Although women would have to pay if the dad kept the kid, but usually that's not how it works out. Oh my fucking god.
Seem more capable than the grunts. We're not sure whether to chalk it up to training or stricter mind control.
Destiny only invites people to Skype he knows are retarded. Okay, Smash Phase. You're the second person I'll extend the invite to. Smash Phase and Destiny GG chat. Do you want to come on to Skype and discuss this? Smash Phase. Do you want to discuss this on Skype then, buddy? You're the second person up, dog. I'm only inviting people on Skype that are retarded. Are you retarded?
Mom, swallow me or leaving me in a dirty sock. I love you, Steve. Less than 3. Mom has better internet than you. Thanks for the child support.
Alright, I sent you my Skype. Go ahead, add me on Skype and we'll talk about it. I think I've already lost this fucking run. Oh, good. That guy just pulled up right over there. Okay. Oh, and that dude's right over there, too. Okay, that's good. We got all the fucking memers on board.
Confirmed. Moving to designated coordinates.
You crit for 5? It's not even a real crit.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
41%, boys. Good luck.
Destiny, should a fetus diagnosed with microcephaly not be allowed to be aborted? Bonus meme, with the Zika virus becoming the hot new thing, this will be a real issue. SOTRIGGERED.
Destiny, he was getting Skype. I feel like it's all over already. I feel like I'm not going to hit this 46% chance shot. Oh no, he's going to get the big flanks.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
We know. Come on, dodge this one flank shot or take 3 damage. Oh my god, a literal 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 god. Can we have one of those raid call style open mic debates? No, I'm not going to be responsible for spreading that much cancer.
I can't move.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Everybody is gonna die. Just play XCOM ALMAO.
Wow, that was quite the dank Rick and Morty reference, dog. I got that Rick and Morty reference because I'm a dank memer just like you. We're all dank memers. Oh my god, did this alien just fuck up?
Okay.
Did this alien just actually fuck up? Do we have this? 72%? No, we don't have it. Fuck. Can we try to get it? What if I come around over here? What if we come around over here? What if we throw the little bitty frag? Give him a little fragnade. Give him a little fragnade here. And then we give him a little 72%er. Little 72%er. Ooh. Ooh.
Enemies down.
Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up, Smash Phase?
What's up, Destiny? Alright, what do you want to do?
What do you want to do, buddy? How do you want to start it, dog? Go ahead. You're the meme master, mate.
I mean, you're the one who probably knows more than I do overall, because you've, like, fucking sat down, read every book about abortion, had this whole thing in your head since you were, like, fucking 16.
Okay, look. No. It's not even about that. Okay, listen. This is really simple. Okay, I'm not gonna try to meme or anything. Okay, in my personal opinion. Okay, so first of all, let's clarify what we're talking about. Okay, so my position is, first of all, this is a moral position, not a legal position. Okay, even with this moral position, I don't even know if I would have abortion legal or not, just because so many people do it regardless. Okay, but morally, I think that terminating a fetus in all scenarios, except for where the life of the mother is in danger, is morally wrong. That's what I think. Okay, so none of this. Oh well, what if the mom was gonna die and blah blah blah? So obviously, then yeah, terminate the fetus. Okay,
would you be okay if a mother was going to bring a child into the world very well knowing that probably, let's say she's a hooker or something, like she's bringing it into a place that's dangerous, that's more likely that the baby is going to die from some disease or neglect of some sort. We don't know what the situation is. There's too many variables to take into account to just say outright, all right, no abortions no matter what. Like you need to look at every single aspect of what's going on.
Okay, but that's not the reason why you're for abortion. I don't think you even believe that. Because would you allow Okay, so then would you allow a mother to make that same choice for a child that's already born? And if not, why not?
What do you mean already born?
Let's say you have a 1-year-old child and it's starting to look like, and then the mother had to become a hooker, and she's like, fuck, like this child is fucked. Like he's gonna have a fucked up life, tons of diseases, all fucked, everything is fucked. Why shouldn't she be allowed to abort him at 1 year old for the same rationale as you would terminate the pregnancy?
Because it's already been brought to the earth. It already has some sort of cognitive abilities to, even if you're saying that it's not self-aware until a certain stage, it still does have some sort of cognitive abilities where it can realize itself in some capacity, maybe not some sort of, well-off advanced way.
Okay, so then
is a way for it to know this, I am I am me in a certain way. I don't know exactly, I'm not reading fucking books about their cognitive development, and I don't think it's fair that both of us can sit here like armchair fucking psychologists or neurological fucking experts knowing exactly what's going on at each stage in somebody's life.
Sure. Okay. So you're saying then that it's the cognitive thing. So then would you be okay with partial birth abortion? If the mother was about to give birth to a child, it was like in 9 months, she's like, fuck this, I want to abort. Would you be okay with the mother aborting the child at that point?
Correct me if I'm wrong though. Is there like a limit of when you can no longer do an abortion? Like what's the
legally right now? I think it's 6 months, but I think it might go state by state. I'm not entirely sure. But we're just talking morally right now. We're not talking legally.
Okay. No, because I just wanted to understand, because if it's 6 months, I mean, there's a developmental period that I'm sure they took that was taken into account of knowing. I'm sure there's experts that had to have, chimed in and went like, all right, this is when there should be a cutoff date because this makes the most sense.
Well, not really. It's actually a really political issue right now. If there was an expert opinion on it, like I would know it. Not because I'm really smart, but I would go and look it up to see like what is. There isn't like a prevailing. This is a philosophical question. It's not a medical one. The philosophical question is, when do you become a human being, right? And the medical community can't really define that. Like you become a human being here, right? So that's what the discussion is over.
So you're saying they just just threw darts and they decided, all right, 6 months, let's go with that. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty arbitrary. Yeah, no, I'm serious because people will do it around like, oh, well, like this is when the baby can feel pain, or other people like, well, that's when the baby heart starts to beat, and other people will be like, oh, well, it's when the baby's brain starts to turn on a little, or yeah, it's actually pretty arbitrary. I don't think there's not like a well from the, not to mention the fact that like when you talk about any of those arbitrary markers, you don't actually know exactly when those happen, right? And it's not like you go in and you measure the thing. It's like, okay, his heart's not beating yet, we can go ahead and abort, right? You would just do it based on a timeline, like.
But if we're looking at like not lawfully, but philosophically, or whatever, however you want to look at it, I mean, bringing a child into a world where overpopulation, that's subjective, I guess, but still, bringing it into a world such as that, bringing it into a potential dangerous scenario where its percentage of surviving is so minimal, it's almost negligible to bring it into the world in the first place. Bring it into a household that's fucking terrible. Potentially, fucking, she could throw it into a dumpster for all we know. Who the fuck knows what she's gonna do after she gives birth to it? And then also the foster system. The foster system is such a shithole. I mean, putting any child into that, the amount of abuse that is going on, not only in foster homes, but in those foster centers before they're placed, is fucking ridiculous. I mean, you can Google it. Maybe I'm wrong on the percentage, but I remember reading that there is quite a bit of abuse towards foster children.
Okay, so then two questions that come out of that. One, do you think that if you went to like a foster area where there were foster children, you would ask all of those children like, hey, maybe we could just kill all of you instead of having you be in this fucked up system? Do you think that everyone would say yes?
They're cognitively like aware of what's going on. They're not going to be like, yes, I want to kill myself.
So you think that the 9 or 10-year-old is too stupid to realize that it would be better off dead?
They're not declared alive, and I mean alive cognitively and no self-aware of what's going on to some degree, which is from birth or after birth or whatever. You can't just be like, all right, well, we're not going to kill them or we're going to kill them. How can you decide? Like I said, there's too many variables that we have to
no, but
look
you're
at.
saying, but like your argument is that, well, look at all these kids that end up in foster areas, and foster areas are so fucking bad, and so that's why abortion should be okay. So now your argument...
It's not just foster areas.
Well, no,
It's
but
not
I'm just saying,
that.
but like you're saying, like, well, their life would be so fucked up anyway, like even if it was a living fetus, right? Because we're going off of maybe it is a living thing. You're saying that, well, their life is so fucked up.
100%. If the mother 100% is not going to be taking care of the child, why send it away? Why give birth to something that's potentially going to live a miserable life?
Potentially, though, but what you're doing by killing, by aborting it, is you're making the decision for it. I don't disagree that you could find some people that would agree with you, and there might even be some foster kids that would agree, like, fuck, I would rather just die. But I'm sure you could find a decent number of foster kids that don't want to die, right? And like
mother's decision before it's born, before the 6 months. I mean, you can't just say like, yeah, let's fucking. I don't understand your train of thought, because if you're saying not to kill a child, no matter when, during that whole cycle, during that whole pregnancy, I mean, I don't like if it's before 6 months, as has been stated, as has been decided by a host of, I'm sure, scientifically knowledgeable people that are aware of this whole situation, know way more than both of us combined and anybody in
this
in
isn't
chat
it's not a scientific question. This is like it is a philosophical. It's not a scientific question of when do you become a human being. That's not a scientific question. It's a philosophical question. It's not one that science will ever have an exact answer. If you want the scientific answer is, scientifically, you become a human at the moment of conception. That's when your very unique genome, when your DNA is formed, your unique DNA that makes you the 1 out of 6 point whatever billion people in the world, unless you're a twin or whatever, right? An identical twin, right? That unique DNA is what makes you as a human being. That's the most identifying unique thing that you're gonna get that makes you a human. Right? That's what it is. And that happens at the moment of conception. But otherwise, the only scientific things you're going to get is, well, this is when the heart starts beating. This is when the brain will function in these ways. This is when the brain will function in other ways. This is when you sexually differentiate in the womb, like whatever. But like, you're not going to find a scientist that's going to say like, oh yes, like this is the exact moment that you become a living human being. Like, it's not an answer that science can provide. It's a philosophical thing.
Is it philosophical to decide when is something cognitively aware and
well,
able to...
Well, when is something cognitively aware is a different question. Like, and again, this is something where like,
it's not,
if you want to
it's
talk...
Not How can it be if it's considered a living thing or a living person under whatever law you are a person? If you murder them, you're a murderer and so on. You can't just be like, well, after the whole pregnancy, the second it becomes 2 cells, it's like, oh, this is a person. You can't kill them. They're not aware. They're not technically a person at that stage.
Okay, so cool. I understand what you're saying. So then you tell me, okay? You tell me, when does it become a person then? Then I need the answer from you. When do you think it is?
I feel like you're putting me in a trap, and if whatever I answer, you're just gonna...
I'm not putting you in a trap. I'll speak personally, okay? Because I wanted to get an abortion when fucking Rachel got pregnant, because that shit was a huge fucking blow to my fucking life. So I spent more time than, I guarantee you, any other fucking person in this chat to figure out, well, what makes a fetus subhuman, right? That was my whole quest, and I spent like 3 fucking months trying to figure out, like, what is a way, because up until that point, I had been very anti-abortion, because I didn't think there was ever a good reason to do it. And I couldn't find any answer ever. So I'm not just trying to put you on the spot. I'm asking you for like an actual answer, because I couldn't find one. Besides the moment of conception, at what point does somebody become an actual human being? I couldn't find a good answer besides the moment of conception, which is why I'm anti-abortion.
I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm perfectly like well educated in the whole abortion topic or about pregnancy or how that exactly specifically works to the T, but I will say, based, and you're going to probably fuck me up with this, but the law, if the law is saying that it's 6 months and there's a decision of why it was at 6 months, then I think before that 6-month term or 6 months has started, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're talking legally though, but that's not like, imagine you're arguing in the 1960s, or I guess before that, imagine you're arguing about whether or not you should be allowed to keep a black person as a slave, and the other person's like, well, the law says you can. Well, like, I mean, that's not, we're talking about it, it's a moral argument right now. We're not talking about legally. Legally, obviously, you're in the right. Legally, abortion is legal. Roe versus Wade is part of the Supreme Court. Like...
I mean, I want to say before it's born, but like there's laws in place, and then it's like the laws will tell me otherwise. You will tell me one thing. It's so subjective. You think one thing, I'm going to think another thing. No matter what I say, I'm not going to change your mind tonight or today or ever. You're going to have to find that on your own, or maybe you won't. Maybe
okay, sure, but like here's the thing. Like,
so
I've presented you like my very firm position on when I think a person becomes a person, but you haven't given me one yet. What do you think? You were saying something about cognitive. Like, do you have an actual definition of when you believe somebody becomes a human being? Like,
if what the law has... Okay, let me finish.
Okay, the law said that black people weren't full people. We're only 3/5 of a person. Like, we're not talking about the law. We're just talking about morals. We're just talking about morals.
If my mother was had wheels, she would be a bicycle. Like, it doesn't make sense. You can't compare slavery to abortion.
Why not? I'm not comparing slavery to abortion. I'm just saying that we're not going by what the law says. Dude, up until 3 years ago, we could have said that gay people weren't entitled to be married. Would your argument then be, well, of course gay people can't get married. It's against the law. Well, that just recently changed within the past year or two. Like, we're not talking about the law. It's just a moral or ethical argument.
I feel that the way that somebody has decided if they're a person is once they get, and I'm going to keep repeating it, but like once they are self-aware, once they have cognitive abilities of some sort, once they're
okay, so
considered
we'll ask Chad on this. No, I understand what you're saying. Okay, we'll ask Chad on this. Okay, because this is
how can you ask Chad though? Unless somebody's a neurological scientist or a psychologist.
No, it's not. No, this is a well understood thing in psychology. Okay, so Chad could correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. No, fuck. So I'll ask Chad. Okay, so there's a lot of people in chat disagreeing. Chad can correct me if I'm wrong. The way that you typically test animals, from what I learned in my bullshit little AP Psych class back in high school, the way that you would test things for being self-aware is you would put it in front of a mirror, and then you would either put like a dot on their head with a laser pointer, or you would put something behind their head, and if the thing reached up to try to grab it, then that would demonstrate self-awareness of the animal, because they were able to look into the mirror and they were able to understand that that was themselves, and then they would extrapolate from there, right? That was, I feel like, I could be wrong, but I think wasn't that the test, one of the tests for like self-awareness? And then I want to say that human babies don't pass that test until they're like 2 years old. If I'm wrong, then somebody in chat can correct me, because I don't remember that well. Tell me if
Isn't it before the 6-month cycle though? They don't breathe. They don't have some sort of awareness. They're not actual functioning human beings. Like their brain. When does their brain start functioning? I mean, do we know? Like, do you know? I don't know.
I mean, different part. What do you mean? The brain is always functioning to some extent.
No, functioning in terms of. in terms of their personal abilities, personal awareness, some sort of movement.
Personal things and awareness are things that develop throughout your childhood until your early teens. Like a 1-year-old doesn't have like a sense of like a cognitive sense of itself and its existence in the world, right? Neither does like a 6-month-old. Like
but there has to be a point in time that it starts.
Yeah, and again, from my education, and somebody can comment and shout if I'm wrong or link something wrong, I think it starts when you're around 2 years old is when you truly start to develop a sense of self in terms of being self-aware and whatnot. Like that happens at around 2 years old. That's why I don't think it's like self-awareness is like a good measure of whether or not something should be aborted because it comes so late in life. Or if you do think that it is, then you should be able to abort somebody, until they're like 2 years old.
I'm trying to find where, like at what age. By the time an average toddler reaches 18 months, they will discover themselves and recognize their own reflection in the mirror. But just because they then can recognize themselves in a mirror, before that, it doesn't matter? Or like...
Tell me. You're the one that's saying that self-awareness is really important, so that's your argument.
I'm trying to understand this. That's all. Because you told me to get on Skype. I'm trying to fucking get everything understood. I mean, this is... I know you're putting pressure on me, and the whole thing is probably going to go your way regardless, but...
Oh, it's not about going my way. Now, listen, okay? This is what happened, okay? You said in chat that I only pulled retards into Skype to argue with me, and then I pulled you into Skype, and you don't even have a concrete opinion after saying that I only pull in retards from Skype. You can't even give me a concrete opinion. What the fuck?
I did give you a concrete opinion.
No, you didn't. So was it self-awareness? What was the concrete opinion?
I've been saying this whole time. If it's before the 6-month cycle, it should be... aborted. It can be aborted.
Okay, so you're okay with aborting up to 6 months. That's like the definitive timeline for you is 6 months.
Because obviously there's been a decision that's been made, taking the law out of
the
picture.
So it's not your no. You were just going the legal route. You were going to say there's legally it's okay up to 6 months, so that's the reason why you're okay with it up to 6 months.
How can you be the decider as well?
I'm not. It's a moral argument. We're not talking about the law. We could have had the same discussion about gay marriage 2 years ago.
Presenting your facts as if this is how it is and this is how it should be, when it's not.
Yeah, well, of course I am, because I'm making an argument, and I'm inviting you to disagree with me.
And I am disagreeing with you, and I'm making my own argument.
You're not. You're saying this is the law, so you're wrong.
Law aside, oh my God, you're not listening to me. Law aside.
Okay, law aside.
Law aside, 6 months has been decided.
Legally.
No, legally. Let me finish my
Okay, I'll let you finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
1 second.
Hey, look, I had a perfect run on this mission, guys. I don't even think we got injured. Unbelievable.
Menace 1-5. Rendezvous at the extraction point. Status confirmed. Squad is clear.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
You are not a person until separated from the mother, or in other words, born. However, legally you should be...
What's up? Hey, hello.
That's my position. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean...
Okay, so your position is that 6 months is your... But you don't have, like, an answer for me in terms of, like, function. You're just 6 months. Is just, that's the line for you. At 6 months, you magically transform into a human. That's just...
You don't magically, but it's a point where it's been decided that that's the proper point of when it cannot be aborted any longer. I mean, I'm not going to play an armchair fucking doctor here. Or
I'm not asking you to play an armchair doctor.
Yes, you
if we were to have a discussion on whether or not, like, euthanasia should be okay, do you think you have to be an armchair doctor to decide if you should be allowed to, or assisted suicide? Do you think you need to be an armchair doctor to make a decision about that ethically or morally?
Think that they have better and more suitable education than we do to make those deciding factors. Somebody who studied it their whole lives, who've done PhDs, dissertations, whatever.
Okay, but there aren't medical doctors in like medicine that have done a PhD on when do you become a human being. right? That what they study is different things happen as you grow into a human. No, but the discussions are just functionalities that happen as you grow as a fetus. You eventually your heart starts beating, eventually your brain starts functioning, eventually your organs start functioning. Like these are all the things that happen, and then it's us as people, as a civilization, that has to look at science and go.
We can debate this forever, but there's not going to become like it's never going to be one-sided where everybody's going to agree on this one thing. How people still think that slavery should happen. I mean, like, you can't just, what we can do is trust the people, or put some trust, at least some, into people that have studied and who have tried their best to understand the subject, rather than us who have never studied this, don't know anything about this, or very little about this, not enough to make an educated or guess on or assumption or discussion on it. We can't discuss. How can we both discuss it, knowing full well we know so little about the whole picture? There's.
I mean, I took a high school biology class. Like, I've got like a pretty good idea of what happens on the way from conception to birth. Like, it's not a big mystery, dog. It's not like some huge like scientific, like the pyramids or the fucking fossil record or some shit. Like, we have a pretty good understanding. We can go on Wikipedia right now and read what happens from start to finish, from the moment it becomes a zygote and grows into a fetus and then grows up and gets fucking delivered out of the fucking vagina. Like, it's not a big mysterious process, dude.
I think your word has as much say as somebody who's studied it versus your high school biology. That doesn't make sense
no one has a say, doc. There's not a scientist in my chat that's gonna be like, Destiny, you're wrong about this thing, because this is a philosophical or ethical discussion on when should you be considered human. No one in my chat has a degree, except for maybe like a philosophy major, that has a degree on this is exactly when we studied in my science class. I'm a doctor of medicine, and in my science class we studied when people become human beings. That class doesn't exist. It's not a question that a scientist answers.
We're going to go round and round on this. You know my point. I know your point. We're never going to agree on this. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You want to like tell me I'm wrong? That's your subjective opinion, but am I right? That's my subjective opinion on thinking I'm right or wrong. I mean, or you're wrong. Like, we're never going to come to some sort of conclusion. And I think people that have studied this or know more about this probably have more say, probably can make a better decision than we ever will for the betterment of society and for civilization, human civilization, if you want to use that cliche shit. But like, I don't know what more you want me to say. I don't care what chat thinks. I'm reading you, chat. You guys can think I'm retarded all you want. Like, whatever. I really don't give a fuck. You can think I'm autistic. That's all they say. Your chat, you want to ask chat for their opinion when all they've been spouting is fucking memes.
I didn't ask chat for their opinion. I just asked chat on if I was wrong, right? I asked chat if I was right or wrong about the self-awareness thing and the mirror test. That's all I asked about. I'm not asking about their opinion.
You're still asking for what was that? That's asking for their opinion on the self-awareness test.
No, I wasn't asking for an opinion. I was making a statement that there aren't medical doctors that are in charge of making this ethical decision on, like, well, this is when a person becomes a human being.
That they have a better say or more say in how this should function versus us. We don't have any sort of education in that specific field or in those specific fields. I mean, am I right or wrong? Do you think that they shouldn't have a bigger say than we do? Like, am I wrong? Like, tell me.
I'm getting flashbacks to like I'm just curious. Do you think that if aliens were to discover us, do you think? No, I'm just kidding. I just have to ask this question. I'm curious. Do you think that if aliens were to discover our planet, do you think we could communicate the periodic table of elements to them, or do you think they would have a totally different periodic table? I'm just curious what you think.
I'm not going to answer.
No, I'm just curious what you think. Do you think they would have like a totally different periodic table? Or do you think we would be able to communicate that information? I'm just curious.
You're not baiting me.
I'm not baiting you. I'm sincerely asking. Do you think that we would be able to communicate that? Or do you think aliens would be so advanced that they wouldn't understand? Or
I can't answer that because I don't know. I'm not fucking some alien expert of knowing if they're aware of how our things work. I'm not going to answer that. You're not getting me with that.
Okay, but I just got you with it by not answering it. The real answer is you don't know what the periodic table of elements is, right? It's just like you don't know what a fetus is. You think that there's like some huge mystery that babies growing up are like this huge black box of mystery that we have no fucking idea what's going. We know what happened. You learn probably in fucking grade school. You know, we can go read on websites right now like what happens at each stage of fetal development. It's not a big mystery. This isn't like we need to bring an expert in here to talk about it. This is a very easy moral, ethical dilemma that we can talk about without being a scientist. Like,
calm your Asperger's down, first of all. Second of all, aliens, you're using aliens of not knowing our periodic table of elements as your argument of, well, these scientists shouldn't have some sort of more say over abortion topics. Are you serious right now? I mean, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And you're saying like, and chat saying I'm autistic or stupid or retarded or whatever. I mean, it just blows my mind how you can use an argument of aliens when this has nothing to do with that at all. Them understanding our periodic table. Oh my god, Destiny, where do you get these fucking ideas?
I don't know, dude. I just pulled it out of my ass, man.
And it's fucking terrible.
I know, it was bad.
I don't know why you keep thinking that this is some. I mean, I'm gonna keep reiterating. I think these people that have sat down, who have somehow decided for society, know way better than we do. And if we can only debate it, but then you're just gonna say your thing, I'm gonna say my thing, and that's the end of it. And we're never gonna come to some conclusion. I don't know what you want. Why did you even want me to come, other than me calling you out on that shit? Doesn't make sense. Like, what were you gonna think? You're gonna get me? You're gonna like show me that I'm wrong on abortion? Like, you're gonna change my mind? You're gonna sway me to some
Dog,
different...
Are you being real right now? I can't even tell if you're memeing on me or not. You're trying to make it sound like, okay, let's go to this argument. This is the argument right now. You're trying to make it sound like only scientists can decide whether or not abortion is morally or ethically correct. That's what you said. You said that. Okay, tell me what you said.
I said somebody who's educated and knows more about the subject should have more say.
Okay. How big of a say? Like 60% more? Like 75% more? Or like 55%? How big of a say?
Oh my fucking God.
You're the one that said it. I'm just trying to clarify, dog. You tell me.
They should have the amount of say that is necessary in order to make the proper judgment and the decision for the well-being of our civilization, our humanity. I mean,
okay, do you think that scientists and doctors should have a say on whether or not the death penalty should be legal?
Oh my God, here we fucking
what?
go.
I'm just curious. They're scientists. They know this shit better than we do. So shouldn't they?
Then you use aliens, and then you use death.
No, I'm just asking. Don't you think scientists should be the one in charge of the death penalty? Because
the immigrant situation, are you gonna tell me like?
Well, I don't know. Maybe only fucking sociologists and anthropologists should be in charge of making decisions. Because they're the scientists, right? Why should we decide when they're the scientists?
Saying the group of people, or a large group of people that are well educated, should have more say, should have this discussion, and can make the laws applicable to us, like, you know, everyday Joes or whatever the fuck you want to say. Like, I mean,
okay, so then do you think that all of our laws should just be written by scientists? I'm sorry. Do you think that all of our laws should be written by scientists then? And we shouldn't have any say? We should just let the scientists write all the laws about everything?
I'm saying we should do to the best of our abilities as a civilization, as humanity, to get people, or to get a group of people or whatever that can decide this for what's better, that we know at this current time. We can't just be like, well, we didn't know this, or I mean this.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. Okay, so I'm just gonna summarize your argument to the best of my abilities. Okay, and I'm not trying to miss things on you. Stop me if I'm wrong. Okay, so you think that whether or not abortion is legal or illegal is a matter that should only be decided by scientists. And that's it. End of discussion. Because the scientists know best.
No, why are you?
Okay, well then tell me. Then rephrase it. I'm sorry. Then rephrase it in a way that I can understand. Very simply. Okay.
I'm saying that people that oh my God, scientists. Your autism is killing me, Destiny.
I can't help it, dude. So make it real easy for me, because I'm real slow. Okay.
I'm literally on my deathbed right here.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. If you were on your deathbed and a family had to make a decision on whether or not they should kill you, do you think that the scientists should be in charge of deciding whether or not it's okay? Because they know more about that. That's pretty relevant. Euthanasia is like pretty relevant to abortion. It's kind of a similar thing, right? We're talking about quality of life and shit.
Everything you fucking say is like, well, if this is an analogy, you stop making analogies of everything.
The reason why I'm making analogies, dog, is because I'm trying to point out inconsistencies in your arguments, and analogies are the easiest way to show a silly person that they're being silly. You're trying to make the argument that scientists should be able to make a decision for you. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing a parallel to another thing, and I'm asking if you think a scientist should be able to make a decision there. And when you say no there, it shows that you're being inconsistent, which means that your first argument doesn't hold true. That's why I make an analogy.
I think people that are more well-versed, who are pushing the limits of our understanding of these things, should be able to have more say than we do.
Okay,
Simple.
so then
It's
then answer the other question. So do you think they should have more of a say on whether or not you should be able to euthanize Aunt Sally, who's in the hospital and in lots of pain? Do you think the doctor should have a say on whether or not it's okay for her to commit doctor-assisted suicide more so than her or the family? Because they're the doctors and the scientists and they know.
Didn't you also say that you're not going to bring barring health into abortion as well? So why are you bringing a health topic in terms of...
I'm just asking,
like,
because you said that doctors and scientists know this better than us, and they should be the ones making the decision. So now I'm asking you, do you think they should be making that decision? This isn't, you can say yes, it's not a right or wrong answer. I'm just looking for consistency.
Why don't you ask chat? Why don't you ask your lovely chat?
Because I'm not arguing with chat right now, I'm arguing with Smash Phase.
Oh my god. Every time you read it out like that, it's just like...
What?
I'm discussing it with Destiny. Like, what? Why are you... Destiny, all I'm saying is they should have a better say. They have more say and more understanding of the topic at hand. I mean, I don't know how many times to hear it. Even if it's Aunt fucking Sally that's dying, they probably have a better understanding of what is going on and giving the discretion.
Okay, so then you do think that doctors should have a say on whether or not like euthanasia or assisted suicide should be legal. It should have a bigger say than people because they know more. That's what you're getting at, right?
Sure.
Okay, let's see, that wasn't that hard. That's okay. That's fine. You can have that opinion. Okay? Do you feel better now?
Yes,
that's not like I'm not trying to bait you. I'm just looking for consistency in your answers, okay? So
yeah, it feels everything you do, it feels like I'm getting fucking baited into some sort of corner where you're just waiting to somehow, and you are. I've seen you do this to numerous people. I've been watching you since like the early days of your streaming, so I know what the fuck you do, and I know how you set people up.
I'm not trying to set you up. It sounds like a setup. Listen, no, this is the same thing I do with Nathan. If Nathan were to walk over to the table and knock my shit off the table, okay, and I would go, Nathan, clean that up, okay, and Nathan would clean up, and then I go, and then I would ask him, Nathan, how would you like it if I went over to your stuff and I threw it on the ground? And Nathan would go, oh, well, I wouldn't like that. And I would go, okay, well, then you shouldn't knock my stuff on the ground. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. So when you make an argument that scientists should be able to make decisions about abortion because they're more well-versed in that science, then I'm going to ask you, okay, but then I'm going to ask you,
do you disagree with me that they're not well-versed in the subject, that they shouldn't have a bigger say?
I don't disagree that they're not well-versed in the subject, but I do disagree that scientists should be allowed to make moral decisions or ethical decisions because I think that's not within the bounds of what they do.
It's not fucking one scientist like fucking Terry the scientist in his fucking basement deciding how we're gonna write up these laws. It's a group of people, a large group of people that sit down who have this debate and change it as necessary if it needs to be.
Okay, but do you think the Supreme Court that did Roe versus Wade, do you think those guys were research scientists or biologists or?
If some sort of new development comes out, we can change it up accordingly. I mean, nobody is perfect. We're not perfect. You're not fucking not perfect.
What new development is going to come out about developing babies? Again, this is where I think our big misunderstanding is coming in from. There's not a big mystery about developing children. We know what happens as a fetus develops. You can learn about it in high school.
There's the consequences of having that said child, bringing it into a planet that is going towards overpopulation.
Okay, but now you're making a different argument because now that same argument can be easily extended to a 6-month-old. What if you have a woman whose husband dies in a car accident and all of a sudden she's in poverty and she can't afford anything? Should she have the right to terminate a child that's 1 year old? It's just going to have a fucked up life anyway, and it's going to be fucking poor, and she's going to become a hooker.
Within the applicable law, it is her choice because it is technically part of her body that she can make that choice. It's hence why I'm pro-choice. You are not to decide what she can do with her own body. She's the one who can decide what she does with her body.
Okay, and if this was only a matter of her body, then we wouldn't be having this discussion. Of course, I totally agree. A person should be able to choose to do what they want with their own body. But we're not talking about their own body. We're talking about... We're talking
Is
about
the
whether or
fetus not part of that person that's connected, like physically? Like, I mean, I don't.
Okay, if the fetus was a tumor, this is a very easy why are you laughing? That's what you're making it sound like. If the fetus is a tumor, then of course it's a very easy thing. Yeah, the woman has agency of her own body, she can abort or whatever. If the fetus is a living person, don't you think that changes the argument just a little bit? It's not the same as just excising a tumor. Like, it's a different...
I don't know how you can even compare the two. There's a difference.
Between what? A tumor and a fetus?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Oh boy, here we go. All right, the tumor is actively going to kill somebody. A baby is not going to actively kill a mother.
No. Okay. What if it's the opposite of a malignant tumor? I don't know what it's called. The tumor that doesn't do anything. What if it's just a peaceful tumor that just sits there and it doesn't grow that much? What's the difference between a tumor?
There are people that have peaceful tumor. I mean, what are you trying to get at? What is your end goal here? Your tumor analogy.
It's been the same thing I've been trying to prod around. I'm circling you, trying to get an answer out of you for what makes a fetus different than a tumor. What makes a fetus when do you become a human? You haven't given me an answer yet. The only answer you've been able to give me is when the scientist says so.
Somebody in chat or you can go back to the bot and see what I've been saying since the beginning, and I have given you an answer since the beginning.
The only answer you've been giving me is, well, I guess it's around 6 months because that's kind of when the scientists say. That's the only answer you've given. Initially, your answer was like, well, cognition and self-awareness, but then I said that doesn't happen until you're 1 or 2.
Coming up with alien analogies and some fucking who knows what kind of crazy shit goes on in your head, Destiny, on a daily basis. I'm not doing that. You're the one who, every time I tell you something, you're like, well, you're not giving me an answer. I did give you an answer. I don't know what more. I've told you. You asked me about the Aunt Mary who's on her deathbed. You've asked me.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. I agree. So then I should be able to ask you to repeat it then. Okay, because I can't follow this. Okay, because you're saying too many words too quickly and I'm too slow. So I'm going to ask you real simply. At what point does a fetus become a human? What was your answer? Because I didn't get it. Can you tell me?
Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing. I just want you to tell me. At what point does a fetus become a human? Because I didn't hear it. Tell me.
Yes, you did.
No, what was it?
And you're like, thank you. You finally answered.
No, what was it? Just tell me. Just say it. What was the answer? At what point does a fetus become a human? What is the thing that defines a human? What makes you a human from a fetus? Tell me.
Oh my God. I've answered this multiple times.
Just answer it one more time. Just tell me. And then you win the whole argument. Just tell me. I just want to know, at what point does a fetus become a human? You said you answered it multiple times. Answer it one more time. What point does a fetus become a human?
We're going to win this argument.
No, it's not winning an argument. I'm just trying to figure out what your argument is. I just want to hear you say it. At what point does a fetus become a human? I don't think you've answered it yet, but you tell me you have. Now I want to hear it.
Oh my God, please kill me.
Just answer it. At what point does a fetus become a human? What makes the fetus a human? What makes a human a human?
What have I been saying since the beginning, Destiny? What?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking again.
You didn't listen to a word.
I haven't listened to anything. That's why I'm asking. I've just been talking. I just think of my next line and the next alien analogy to make. I'm just asking you.
I listen to your analogies. I listen to your point of view, and I understand, or I try to understand your point of view. But when I've told you and discussed this with you, you haven't listened to one word I've said this whole time.
I listened, but I couldn't extract the meaning because I don't know. It was just hard for me. Can you just tell me at what point does a fetus become a human? Why? Just tell me that.
You're trying to get me like fucking. I'm gonna say 7 months instead of 6 months or something, and you're gonna be like, haha. You're like, what the fuck are you trying?
Okay, so just tell me. Why can't you just tell me the answer? At what point does a fetus become human?
Oh my fucking God.
What's the answer, dog? Just answer the question.
I'm not gonna keep repeating myself. I've said it.
Okay, just say it one more time. Just one more. If you said it 1,000,000 times, 1,000,001 won't hurt.
So you haven't been listening to a word.
I did listen, but I couldn't extract your point. Just tell me, what makes you a human being? What makes you a human being? Tell me.
Your cognitive ability and self-awareness. I've explained this. It's like fucking.
But I thought that we said. So do you think that a 2-month-old kid?
Here it is.
What? Do you think a 2-month-old has cognition or self-awareness? That's a legitimate question.
And what did I say? At a certain point, which has been decided by science.
Then you abandoned that point when you realized that it was fucking autistic, when it was retarded as fuck. You abandoned that point.
What did I say? What did I say? You're trying to trap me in some sort of.
I'm not trying to trap you. I'm giving you so much speaking time.
It's not about speaking time. I don't give a fuck about speaking time. I really don't care. I'm not here to sort of have some sort of platform where look at me, look at my 15 minutes of fame. Really don't give a fuck about it. It's just annoying that every single time you have some sort of discussion, you call everybody a fucking autist. Your point is only right, whether you're on your soapbox or not, whether this is your stream or not. It's just not fair that you don't try to at least understand or
I'm
want to
trying.
understand.
That's why I asked you what your argument was. I'm trying, dog. I'm trying.
Past 38 minutes I've been explaining my point and you've been coming up with shitty fucking analogies.
Because I'm trying to disprove your point. Obviously, it's the point of a discussion.
Like, I don't know what you're trying to play at, and I really don't care if you're playing dumb or whatever to try and entertain your viewers or using me to entertain your viewers. I really don't give a fuck. That's not the point I'm getting at. I've explained my position multiple times. I've repeated myself multiple times, and yet you're trying to use whatever I'm saying against me, and I forgot what you said, dog. I don't know what you're saying. Like, it blows my mind that you can sort of influence whether you think you are or not, like you're the fucking people in chat or your viewers like this. It just blows my fucking mind.
Do you want to know why it blows your mind? It's because you don't have a well thought out opinion on this and you came into it assuming that you did. So the minute I try to poke any holes in your argument, you realize that you don't know fuck all what you're talking about. Do you understand how frustrating this is? You've jumped, listen to me. You've jumped from answer to answer to answer. When you first came on, you said it was self-awareness / cognition. And then you got pissy because I showed you that was retarded. Because children aren't self-aware until they're 2 years old. No. So when we hop from that, if you said that it was self-awareness and cognition, then why did we waste so much of this argument about scientists talking about 6 months? Why did we waste any time talking about that if you think the answer is cognition?
That's been a small portion.
No, it's not been a small portion. That was the island that you jumped to when the cognition ship sank.
There's no island. There's obviously some sort of point in time or some sort of description or way to decide when cognition comes to effect, when self-awareness comes to effect, and it's not for us to decide. Because we don't have the ability, well, unless you're a scientist or you're somebody pushing some sort of, understanding or the limits of our knowledge as a species. I mean, you can't say for certain. And what we say means so very little
this is why I asked you the alien question about the periodic table of elements, okay? Because the answer is irrefutably yes, that we would be able to communicate with aliens about it. Why? Because the periodic table of elements are understood immutable truths of the universe. Okay, that's the reason I asked that question. When you talk about these things about fetuses, the impression, and I could be wrong.
Say for sure
the impression, dog. Hydrogen only has one fucking proton that doesn't fucking change. Okay, it doesn't change around the universe. Okay, the reason why because when I talk to you, because when I'm talking to you, it sounds like you have this idea that fetuses are this black box that nobody really understands except for PhD top tier scientists around the world. There are like 7 scientists around the world that really know anything about cognition or about fetal development. These are things that are really well understood, such that they've been...
I'm saying they have better understanding.
No, they don't, dog. No, there's not a better understanding.
I'm sorry. You fucking know more than they do.
I didn't say I know more than they do. I'm saying that I'm saying that I have a decent idea of how a fetus develops, but having a deeper understanding of that doesn't give you more insight into at what point you become a human being.
Gives you more say into the...
No, it doesn't give you more say. Why do you think it gives you more say? What could a scientist know about it that would change my perception of it?
So retard Mike on the street, he's gonna fucking weigh in on the laws of how fucking abortion should work. All right, Destiny, that's fucking genius. Any fucking retard that doesn't know jack shit, doesn't know what 1 + 1 is, they should come in and they should talk about something as hefty as fucking abortions. All right, my bad.
What do you think a scientist knows over me about like a fetus developing that would change my opinion? What is like some really high level PhD truth that a scientist might know that would give them...
Other than you reading some sort of Wikipedia article or some
or taking a high school biology class,
high school biology, I'm sorry, that makes you well versed at the topic at hand.
It's a pretty basic topic, so yeah, I would say so.
It's a basic topic when you go into cognitive awareness and development and neurological...
Yeah, but cognitive awareness isn't what we're talking about. That's irrelevant when you're talking about a fetus. A fetus doesn't have cognitive fucking awareness.
School biology class teach you, neurological development and how the brain works in a more in-depth manner?
Yeah, it's called taking a psych class. Yeah.
going for 4 years in university and then plus grad, and then plus, their PhD, no, they don't know shit. You know just about as much as they do.
I didn't say I know as much as they do, but I know enough to make a decision about whether or not I think abortion should be okay. I don't think that there's much more, I bet that I could probably find pediatricians that know 1 trillion times more about my child's health, or I could find some psychologist that works in research or whatever that knows 1 billion times more about the development of my kid, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna let him decide whether or not I want him to die or not. I don't think that I need more scientific information to choose whether or not I want to let my child starve to death. But you would come at me saying like, oh, Destiny, just because you're a parent, you think you know as much as these guys, so you think you could decide whether or not you should feed your kid, even though these guys have PhDs? You're not as smart as them.
You're
conflating two totally different issues.
Would you say that your decision heavily, or what you're saying right now, heavily relies on on your emotional factor of having your son currently and knowing the process and going through the process personally? Maybe you're just so emotionally invested that you can't just see another side to this argument, or
no. If anything, I was emotionally invested in the other side, dog. If I had the opportunity, if I was pro-choice, I would have had abortion 1 million times over.
You looked at it for 3 months during when your son was in the stomach, but I don't understand why you're trying to sort of not look at different people's arguments. You're just saying, I don't remember what you're saying. There's alien knowledge, some bullshit. You keep going on some intangible, some fucked up, who knows what's going on in your brain, Destiny. Maybe you have some fucking issues. I don't know why can't you just concretely come out and say, I don't want to listen to the other side's argument. I believe in mine. Fuck everybody else. You're all autistic faggots. And call it a day. Why not just do that? Why have these discussions on stream?
Can I ask you 2 questions? No, wait, listen. Listen.
Are any of the words aliens?
No, listen. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, okay? You have to answer them as quickly as possible, and then after that, I'll concede the whole argument to you. Do you understand? Because you have made good points, okay? So I'm just going to ask 2 questions, okay? What? No, I'm just going to ask 2 questions. Here's my first question, okay? My first question is, how old are you? How old are you?
As old as you are.
You're 27 or 26 or whatever?
7.
Okay. Okay. I'm just
I'm sorry, you're the one who's the genius.
No, I didn't say that. I never said that. I'm just going to ask you a question. You have to answer as quickly as possible. No, because I'm just curious. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. You have to answer as quickly as possible.
You have to tell me why you're laughing.
I'm just curious. I just want to ask you a question. Listen.
Don't be an aspie.
I'm not being an aspie. I will tell you after I ask you, okay? Because it's a goofy question, okay? I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer as quickly as possible.
Answer me. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you what? Answer you what?
Why are you laughing like an ass?
Because it's a goofy question. I'm going to ask you a goofy question. Are you ready?
There's nothing goofy when you ask it.
Oh, no, it's a goofy question. Are you ready? I'm going to ask you. And you have to answer. If you don't answer instantly, okay, here's the thing. If you don't answer instantly, then I'm going to hang up on you and you can see the argument, okay? But if you answer, then you won everything, okay?
If you want to hang up, then
no,
go ahead.
Okay, are you ready? I'm going to ask, okay? You have to answer as quickly as
really
possible.
Don't care.
Okay, are you ready?
I honestly don't care.
Are you ready?
Go ahead, ask. I'm
Okay.
not going to answer if it's some stupid shit.
It's not stupid. No, you have to promise to answer. It's not going to be a personal way. I'm just asking you a question because I'm curious. I'm just asking you a question. I'm just asking you a question because I'm curious. Are you ready?
Are you a virgin?
No, it's not. That's not the question. Are you ready?
No, not.
You have to be ready for it, and you have to tell me you're going to answer immediately, okay? Are you ready? Are you ready?
No, I'm not ready.
Just tell me yes. I need you to be ready to answer this question as soon as possible. I'm curious.
I don't care, Destiny. Say what you're going to say just to make me look stupid so you can give it your entertainment.
I'm not. I just want to ask a question and have you answer it, but I need to know you're going to answer it.
I am skeptical of everything you say, right?
You don't have to be skeptical. It's an easy question.
Why? Because I know what type of person
It's just an easy question. Can you tell me that you're going to answer it?
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question then. If you don't answer it, then I'm going to assume that you just don't know the answer, okay? Are you ready?
What's the name?
Okay. How many holes do you think a woman has between her legs? I'm curious. Answer. How many? How many?
Why are you...
How many? Go. You answer right now. How many?
You can just hang up.
How many? How many? No, wait, just answer. How many? How many? Can you just tell me? I'm just curious. How many? How many? Can you just answer the question?
Why can't you answer why can't you answer normal?
Oh shit, dude. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Oh, fuck. All right. Okay, we're done. I need a break. I need a break, dude. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry. So follow me for like 2 minutes, okay? I'm gonna walk you through my thought process here, okay? You can follow me for like 2 minutes, okay? And you can walk me through my thought. I'll walk you through my thought process. I'm sorry if this is gonna sound really convoluted, but I promise you that it makes sense. So this is something that I found out, okay? When I don't know if I thought of this question or if I read the question on the internet. I don't remember, but a long time ago I was wondering if we were to communicate with aliens, do you think we would be able to communicate the periodic table of elements to them? Like, that was a question that I had. I thought it was really strange. And I think that it seemed like most reasonable people agreed that in some way we would be able to communicate like essential truths of math and essential truths of physics, or chemistry, I guess, to an alien being, right? That there were immutable truths of the universe that could be translated to one another, right? But one thing that I found out in having this argument with a lot of people in my chat and in Twitch chat and having this argument, what I found out was a lot of the people that were arguing that we couldn't do it, the reason why they were making those arguments is because they just didn't understand what the periodic table of elements was. They didn't understand its purpose. They didn't understand what it described. And they were just in general kind of clueless. So then when you ask a person like that, hey, do you think we could communicate this advanced science table to aliens? They would look at it and go, probably not. Like, the periodic table of elements is really complicated. I don't think we could communicate that to aliens. Like, and what if the aliens have totally different technology than us? Like, there's no way. Like, they might have, and I even read some people saying things like they might have a totally different periodic table. No, right? Which is not no. If you understand how it's arranged, it's possible that their periodic table might be arranged slightly differently, but I would bet everything that we could recognize each other's periodic tables, even if they organized theirs slightly differently, right? And it seemed like most people that knew what the periodic table of elements was would say that, right? I'm sorry. So the reason why I'm making that jump is because when this guy started to talk about scientists having a better opinion on fetal development, he was making it sound like the ideas of like cognition and self-awareness and fetal development were complete and total mysteries to mankind, and that 99% of people don't really understand what's going on when a fetus develops, or don't understand what's going on when when kids grow up and, develop, mental facilities or faculties or whatever, right? But we do understand those things fairly well. Obviously, there's a lot more to be understood, but it's not like a huge mystery. And you can learn most of this in high school classes. Like, you can learn a ton of information about like psychology and biology and even a high school class. You don't need a PhD to know what goes on in the fetus. You don't need a PhD to know like when kids start to develop like a sense of self. Like, these are questions that could be answered very easily on the high school level. Anyway, yeah, so that's why I went off into the alien thing. Yeah. Destiny, your problem is you have no idea how to clearly frame your argument at the beginning, and then you get baited by a bunch of tards that don't understand nuances. So I disagree. So my thought process for that discussion was, I have a very, very clear argument. My very clear argument is, I think that you are a fetus at the moment of conception because that's the most consistent definition for life that I personally have found. So my challenge to you is, give me a more consistent definition of life. That's why I laughed when I asked him that question again, because he couldn't give it, which I find with a lot. And I said this, remember I said this an hour ago. I said my biggest problem with people who are pro-abortion is they can't really answer that question. And that's what happened with him, where when he gave one answer, first it was a self-awareness thing. Well, then I attacked that point. Okay, well, self-awareness self-awareness, that's not really a good thing. And then he jumped to the, well, what if they're overpopulation and whatever point? Well, okay, well then why can't you abort somebody who's 1 year old? Okay, well then they jump from that point to, well, okay, what about 6 months? Why 6 months? Because that's when scientists say, well, okay, so what at 6 months is it that you think makes you a human being that's worth the protection of life that you don't have at 5 months or whatever? And he couldn't answer that question, right? So essentially, there's no argument on the other side. So I have my argument still. This is my one consistent definition, and the other person has no argument, right? So that's why it sounded like there was a bunch of floundering around, because we didn't really have any point to argue, because every time he would try to pick like one thing, I would attack that thing, and then he couldn't really defend it, so then he jumped to something different, right? Okay, so who's next? I got this chaos guy. I got this chaos guy on. Do you feel like you're not giving people enough time to let people attack your point? No, I let him talk. Dude, I let him talk so much. Come on, dude.
Oh, shit. I'm so ready for this.
Oh, shit, boy. Okay, so let me start this off by clearly framing exactly what my point of view is, okay? My point of view, okay, is very clearly that I believe that you are a human being at the moment of conception who is entitled to all of the rights of life. The reason why I'm against abortion is because I don't think you should be able to terminate a human life unless there's literally another life hanging in the balance. So obviously I would make an exception if the life of the mother was in danger, okay? So do you understand my point very clearly and concisely?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. Okay. Hit me up.
Okay. So, I got a notepad here. I've been preparing.
Okay.
Okay. So, whether or not it's a person a conception doesn't really matter. It can be if you want it to be. It can be fucking singing opera at 2 months if you want it to be. Doesn't matter the development of it. The idea here is that consent can be withdrawn at any point in time, for any reason, no matter what it is.
Wait, consent for what?
Consent of carrying a child.
Okay, so you think you should be allowed to have abortion right up to the moment of delivery?
Yeah, sure.
So in looking at like you personally as a human being, so you think that like you're in the literal waiting room, and the baby that's right in the mother about to be delivered is not worthy of the protections or entitlements of human life, but the second he's delivered and the cord is cut, then he's entitled to the rights of life?
I mean, if he could be pulled out at like 7 months and still like survive in like an incubator or some shit, then he can chill if he wants to. But like,
okay, wait,
don't kill him at that point. But
okay,
yeah.
so then you think that it's okay to abort a child up to the point to where they can survive outside of the womb with medical assistance?
Yeah. Because like they basically are. You hit this argument with the other guy. They basically are a tumor until the point they're taking up resources like of the female until they're not. So, and like, okay, here's another argument. Say like somebody's gonna die, no matter who it is. Like this person needs a kidney transplant. They don't have their kidneys don't work. They're fucked. The idea is that person can't like find a person that's compatible and then like take their kidney forcibly through like tranquilizing them and like leaving them in a bathtub or some shit. They can't do that. Like just because. Like it's the same thing with abortion. You don't have the right to take somebody else's stuff no matter what if it's in their body. So they don't have the right to live in your body until if you say they can't.
Okay. Give me just like a minute to think about that for a second.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just have to. No, it's because that's like that's
fucking chat. I love these guys. I fucking love chat. These guys think I'm retarded, and they're probably fucking right.
No, not really, because you're being consistent at least. I guess like the way that I look at it, like the reason why I would be uncomfortable embracing that is like it just seems strange to me that like at 8 or 9 months, a fetus would still fit that definition, and you would be okay terminating it.
Well, I mean, I'm not if it can like survive with like in like a fucking in like a fucking test tube or whatever the fuck, at that point it'd be a little bit big for test tube. But if it can survive outside the womb at that point, it can like go chill in like a fucking government hospital or something.
So
I don't know.
So as like medical technology gets better and better and better, you
Yeah.
would say that the woman should have to deliver it. Doesn't that kind of suck for the woman? What if the woman wants to get an abortion at 5 months, but they like just legalize some new technology that makes it so that she can deliver it, and then the baby will be okay outside of the womb? Now all of a sudden she's
Well,
not
then
allowed
she
to get an
just can-
abortion.
No, she can just abandon it at that point. It's like it's not her problem. She can just like give it to the state or something. And if they don't want it, they can do what they want with it.
So you don't think that so like if you as a person were like a 5 or 6 month old fetus, fuck, hold on, never mind, I gotta think for a second.
That'd be pretty cool.
Why? Because you were at one point, right?
Yeah, I hope I was. It'd be pretty good.
Wait, are you Canadian?
No,
No,
my mouth, the top and the bottom of my head connect to each other. It's fine.
Holy shit! The South Park memes? Was that a South Park meme?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was a South Park meme.
I guess I don't know. It just seems I'm really uncomfortable with the idea that like
You can be uncomfortable with it. It's fine, but it's like it's logically consistent is the point. And I want to like point out that I got this argument from fucking 2X chromosomes. Oh, subreddit that I fucking hate. This is where I got this argument from.
Sure. Couldn't you make like similar arguments about children leeching resources like up until they're a certain age too, right? Because like a 2 or 3 month old child is like pretty dependent on you.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because at that point the woman has made the choice that she's going to have the baby and she didn't abort it.
Yeah, but you could make the choice to get pregnant and then decide that you want to abort it at like 4 months or whatever, right? Like because
she's
you were the
allowed to
one.
do that.
What?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
She's
then
allowed to do that. Absolutely.
why is it? Well, then why is the choice taken away from you once you've had the baby? Just because you can give it up for adoption or whatever?
Once it's out of the baby, it's like it's alive at that point. Like it's got like it's human rights and shit. Like I mean, I guess that's where we differ. I don't prescribe human rights to something that's still still takes like life support from like the body of the
from life support from another person.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess to dive deeper into that, why wouldn't you consider that to be something living, or like something living as a human?
Because it's a tumor at that point. It can't survive on its own. It like
sure,
it
but
doesn't matter how cognitively active it is. I mean, it can be fucking doing calculus. But it still can't survive on its own. So.
It does grow into a human though, right? With something that a tumor would never do.
Yeah, but that's its problem whether it does or not. It's not the woman's problem.
Sure, but the woman is the one that ultimately decides whether or not it lives or dies. No.
Yeah, that's absolutely her. That's absolutely her decision.
And then the person has no.
They get no say because they are a tumor.
I don't know. That sounds pretty brutal.
It might be brutal, but it's kind of logically consistent. I mean, you're not making me into a retard like the other guy.
No, I'm not trying to make you into a retard. The other guy made himself into a retard, okay?
Yeah,
I'm not making you into a retard, okay? Because you're not retarded, okay? Do you understand?
Okay.
Congratulations. You're not retarded.
Thank you.
So I'm not going to make you into a retard. No, I guess like it's just that in looking back, it seems like there are a lot of times in your life where you are completely and totally dependent on another person. Right? Up until you're 18, you're dependent on your parents to take you to school. Up until you're fucking 6, you're dependent on your...
We get, like, emancipated and shit. And, like,
yeah, okay, but you know what I mean, for the most part, right? Up until you're 6, you're pretty dependent on your parents watching you all day. Up until you're 2, you can be dependent on literally every aspect of your life. You can't even walk around. And then up until, 6 or 7 months or however long, you breastfeed, you're dependent on your mother for, food and whatnot, like literal food from her body. Like, it just seems shitty that because you're in a stage of your life where you're dependent on someone else, that somebody else could walk along and be like, fuck it, you have to die now because the mom just doesn't want to deal with your shit. Like that seems like a really shitty view to have of somebody that's not capable at this moment in time of thinking or doing anything for themselves.
It might be shitty, but like at that point you're not killing them. At that point you're taking them to an adoption place or getting rid of them that way. They're not like you're like abandoning them. You're not like aborting them at that point.
Sure, but when you are avoiding
them,
them, you are essentially killing them.
When you're not, because it's a tumor. It's a tumor until it's not a tumor. That's the way it works.
But it's not really a tumor. It's not the same thing.
It is
right?
a tumor. It's a fucking little. It's like a little fucking. It's not even benign. This one's not benign. This is taking your resources. This is fucking.
Yeah, but a tumor will never grow. You were never a tumor at any point in your life. A tumor doesn't grow into a fully fledged human being ever. A tumor doesn't have its own, unique fucking set of organs and DNA that will become uniquely itself, right? A tumor is quite different than a fetus, I think, right? They might share some similarities, but there aren't people in my chat typing right now that were at one point tumors, right? Everybody grew out of a fetus. A tumor will never become a person, right? I think
some of these people in your chat might have been tumors.
Okay, some people might be, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you hung up on now?
I guess like the way that, so for me personally, you don't have to endorse the same view, but for me personally, the way that I look at it is I try to be morally consistent with how I approach things for myself, for other people, right? To keep everything,
same, dude.
yeah, to keep everything even, right? So if I demand something for myself, I would demand it for another person, right? In order to not do that would involve some form of bigotry, right? If I want to be treated with respect, I treat someone else with respect, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
like, okay, let me hit you on that real quick.
Yeah, sure.
If you're expecting a woman to carry the thing until basically against her will, then you're basically endorsing someone taking someone else's kidney because they can't survive on their own without somebody else's kidney. I mean, like, what's the argument there?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Hold on, let me think about it for a second. That's kind of like the I don't know the answer to that. That's kind of like the train argument with the fucking philosophy 101. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm dumb as shit.
If there's a train that's about to hit 4 people and then there's a fat person that you could push in front of the train to stop it from hitting the 4 people, are you morally obligated to push the fat person in front of the train because you save 4 people by killing 1 person?
I mean, if it's Chris Christie, we save a bunch more people.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know like a definitive answer to that. If you had to give a kidney transplant to somebody to save their life, but then you decide not to do it. I mean, like, to take a kidney from another living person is like a pretty big deal. I guess like one step further back from that, I do think that every single person should be an organ donor. I think that if you're not, then that's a really disgusting thing. Yeah, that's pretty easy to say though, I would think. But to be forced to give another person a kidney, I mean, like, I don't really think you should. But then if you say no, then you're pretty much inconveniencing yourself. Or you're avoiding an inconvenience, and then someone else will die, right? Which is essentially the same thing for the abortion thing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
No, that's a tough one, mate.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm at.
Destiny, holy fuck, this was never your argument. Well, no, so the idea is, because my position would be that if a woman is pregnant with a child, I think that the woman should always have to deliver the child because you can't abort the child just for the woman's convenience, right? You can't end a person's life just for the convenience of the mom.
Can.
What?
I think you absolutely can for convenience.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm just phrasing my argument. And then your argument is, then shouldn't somebody be able to walk into your house and force you to donate a kidney to save somebody else? And if I would say no, I mean, you can live with 1 kidney pretty easily, right? Or you might have a couple of ones, but like, but then you could make the argument, somebody should be able to force you to give a kidney in order to save somebody else's life. Otherwise, you're essentially doing the same thing as the pregnant woman, right?
Yeah.
Destiny's acting like the woman's resources are going to kill her or something. Humans are made to have babies. Well, but you can survive with 1 kidney as well, so I think that it's like an apt comparison.
Dun, dun, dun.
You will not die from pregnancy, so the kidney example doesn't really make sense. Yeah, but you won't die from having 1 kidney. You could die from pregnancy. You could die from donating a kidney. I think it's a fair comparison. A fetus is human, but not a person. Think about. Oh, never mind. The mother is directly responsible for the conception of the child. Yeah, you could make that argument, but then that brings back. Well, why not?
Well, they're not directly responsible because they don't have to be. That's not them. That's another person, and that person relies on them for life. So like they can just withdraw that consent, and that person can just go get fucked, fucking flush down the toilet or something. I don't know.
Well, like I don't know if you can say that person can withdraw the consent to have the other person still be a living person.
Consent can be withdrawn at any time.
No,
for any reason.
Well, of what? That's not true of everything. No.
I mean, think of a place where it can't be. I mean, like...
Sure, if you're an airline pilot, you can't just withdraw consent to be a pilot while you're in the middle of a flight.
I mean, you signed a contract at that point. You didn't sign a contract to get pregnant.
Well, but you could argue that contractually
you're getting paid to fly a plane. You're not getting... No, maybe like some moral contract, some wishy-washy bullshit, but not like a real, actual, solid thing that they're like beholden to.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of a wishy argument. Like, I don't sign a contract saying I'm going to drive safely, but I could go out in my car and abdicate my responsibilities.
I mean, you kind of do when you get a driver's license.
Okay, well, I could argue you kind of do when you get pregnant in today's society, where you have all these rules and regulations about, what it means to raise a child and the legal obligations to said children. You could argue that that's kind of like an implicit contract.
I mean, but you don't have legal obligations to it if you abort it.
Well, yeah, but then we're going back to the legal argument, which isn't necessarily what we were...
I mean, we're not really going back to the legal argument on that. I'm just kind of following your point, but...
Yeah, I'm just saying that I don't think the idea that like consent can be withdrawn at every point for every single thing. I don't think you can like blanketly say that for every single thing ever. I think that
I think you can. That's where we're missed. That's where we're gonna hit the roadblock. Because at no point you can tell me that like even if it's the president and he's dying of cancer and I'm the only dying of kidney failure and I'm the only person that can save him with my kidneys, they can't like the Secret Service can't come in and like fucking splice one out of me.
Okay, but like, say right now for my child, like I feel like I have a moral obligation. I'm contractually obligated to take care of him to the best of my abilities until he's at least of age.
Born.
Yeah, but I can't withdraw consent from that. Like just because he was born.
Yeah, because he's already been born. That's right.
So I can't withdraw consent once he's been born?
Well, unless you give him up for adoption, you withdraw all your rights to that child. No, you can't.
Okay, so wouldn't that be a case where I can't give up consent?
No, it's kind of like I'm gonna go on to like financial abortion. I completely agree with it in this kind of thing. Like the man should be able to at any point in time give up the child and all of his rights to the child, and at the same point have no.
So then you don't believe that any person should have any responsibility or obligation ever? That you should always be able to give up consent to every single activity you're ever involved in?
Yeah, unless you've signed a contract or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that's like a whole other different argument. Like I feel like I don't think we'll agree with that.
I think I might have spaghettied something there, but I think we're still pretty good on track.
Yeah, for the abortion thing. The kidney argument, someone in chat said the kidney argument is the equivalent to the difference between drowning someone and letting someone drown. Yeah, I don't really know the answer to that. I have to think about that. No, because it's like the if you see somebody drowning in a pool and you have the ability to save them but you don't, should you be charged with murder? Right?
You should just fucking save them.
Yeah, I know, but if you don't, should you be charged with murder? Is it the same thing? It's the same thing as that train question. Like, should you put kind of? Well, no, it's not the same. It's a little bit different. But
if you don't, you were the only one that saw it. You can just like walk away unless there's security cameras.
Well, sure, but if you have if you have the ability to save them without very easy to save them without any harm to yourself, you don't think that you have a moral obligation whatsoever to save that person?
Yeah, you can save them. Yeah, you should save them. You have a moral obligation to save that person. That person, that's the key right there. That born person, the person that's been born. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I need to think more. I'll have the forethought guy says he wants to come in and he can talk to you first.
Okay. Oh, I gotta talk to somebody else?
Yeah, you're gonna talk to someone else.
You gotta bring in the heavy guns.
Yeah, the heavy guns, the big shooter.
I'm real excited.
The real hang-up that I have right now, though, because of my line of thinking, I understand why you introduced your thought, but like the real hang-up that I'm having right now is if somebody were to come to me and say that they needed a kidney, I don't know on what grounds I could tell them no, because I'm still sitting on the pro-life side of things. Well, but I don't think I agree with that now. But I've never thought about it before.
The reason that you can donate as like an organ donor is because you're dead.
Because you're already dead. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like using your example, if somebody were to come into my house and say like, Steven, like this person is gonna die if you don't donate a kidney, I don't know how I can say no. I don't know how I could ever morally do that. It just seems like I don't have a ground to stand on because if I was in that position where I need a kidney to survive and it would inconvenience someone else, but it would save my life, then I would never expect that person to forego that. But so like twisting it on myself, like I don't see how I could tell no to any random person coming up to me who needs a kidney transplant. Like it seems like a really hard.
Yeah, maybe it's hard for some people. Maybe some people have different morals or something like that. But in my opinion, it's logically consistent. It follows. Like you can't be forced to do something that has to do with your body. It's your body. So yeah.
But I don't really necessarily agree with that. Like that sounds like a really isolationist point of like looking at all of people. Like I do think that you do have some kind of obligation to society to perform the best that you can in some regards. Maybe not like a 100% like force of will, but like let's say 5 people are beating up somebody and you walk by and you're like a very strong, very powerful, well-fit individual, or say you're a police officer with a gun, or not a police officer, but somebody, you know, with a firearm, or you have the ability to change that situation for the better. I do believe that you do have an obligation as a person to do something about it and not just walk away because of agency or whatever, and not just like, well, I have the right to turn away. Like, I do think that you have, for me personally, like that's part of what I believe personally, that you have an obligation to help somebody in that situation. But I think we would disagree on that point, right? I think that you would say that you have the agency.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because you're also risking your life. With pregnancy, even though it's uncommon nowadays, people do die in pregnancy.
Yeah,
so like
possible.
you're risking saving those people.
And even if you don't die, it is still like a major medical procedure that will have you in the hospital for a while. And there is all of the shit that comes along with being pregnant, which is a big deal. It's not just like a whatever. You're pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this guy in for a little bit while I think.
Okay. Oh boy.
All right, Wesley, punished C-3PO Snake with the Skype picture. You're in, buddy. Unless your mic doesn't work.
Fucking robots that can't run computers.
Okay, I'm moderating this discussion now, okay? So if anybody goes full autism, I'm going to pull them up, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So for the people saying Destiny, donating a kidney is a risk to you and is not certain to save the person who's, you're getting into like really you're getting into nitpicky arguments that aren't really looking at like the actual point of the argument, right? The thing that the broad point that we're arguing is whether or not you can inconvenience somebody to save the life of somebody else. And his argument is that you have agency over your own body and a right to do with what you want with your own body. You have no obligation to inconvenience yourself to save another person, right? Is his argument. And the way that he showcases that is with the kidney donation thing. To compare that with the pregnancy, which is a good comparison. And yeah, I don't know. It's something that I have to think about. I make it, when I say it like that, it kind of makes your argument sound a little bit worse, but I don't think so, right? You agree for the most part, right? I'm not trying to make it sound like really sociopathic or anything.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. I didn't actually listen to that. I was typing to this guy in Skype, but yeah, I agree. Okay. Sure. This guy is not having the best of times with Skype.
Skype isn't picking up my microphone. Can we switch to a private TeamSpeak room? What? Dog, on Skype, just click the little bars thing, go to microphone, and it should be there in the drop-down menu. You can do it, dog.
Is it plugged in? Have you tried turning it on and off again? Fucking memes. Oh, he's typing.
I don't know why it's only on Skype. I tried all the toolbar memes. Dog, on Skype, there's the little bars thing. Click that and go to microphones, and under the drop-down settings, your microphone will be there. If it is connected to your computer, your microphone will be there. Oh, hello? Talk, we heard you. Hello?
Maybe push to talk.
No, yeah.
Maybe.
Do you have push to talk on? Is the mute thing selected? There's a little microphone. Is there a slash through it? Literally me unplugging him. Is your microphone muted, like on the microphone? Okay, when you right-click, when you right-click recording devices on your computer and you talk into your microphone, do you see the bars going up and down? Oh, wait, we heard you again.
Oh, shit, words.
What did you just do? See, this is the glitch. Oh my god. Do you have TeamSpeak, Chaos?
I might.
Keros?
Let's see. I might have to update this if I have to do this. Let's see. Fucking TeamSpeak. Let's see. There's Vent and...
It plays all desktop audio, but not my mic. Okay.
I don't have TeamSpeak right now.
You don't have TeamSpeak.
I don't think so. I swear I had it. No, I have Raid Call. I don't have TeamSpeak. Nope, there's TeamSpeak right there. I found it.
Oh, shit.
It's right there.
Okay.
See, it might have to update. So
oh, fuck. I don't have TeamSpeak because I reformatted my shit.
Well, good thing you have great internet. so you can get it real fast.
Yeah.
All this bullshit. Not now. Updates. Go fuck yourself. Let's see, connections. Okay, can't wait for this guy to get my IP. Let's see. Hit us up with some info for this year TeamSpeak.
I posted the server in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm installing TeamSpeak.
Connect. Uh-oh, I have to update.
That's okay, mate. Destiny, murder is the unlawful taking of a person's life, and it seems like your argument is that abortion is murder. Refusing to give a kidney to a person who needs it is not murder, therefore the comparison shouldn't hang you up like this. But the argument is, when you give somebody a kidney to live, is the same as the woman allocating resources inside of her body for the fetus to live. That's the comparison being made. So aborting somebody would be denying that fetus the right to have a privilege to your body, much the same way that denying somebody a kidney transplant would be denying them the right to an organ in your body, would be the comparison. Destiny, your argument can still be considered if you define the amount of moral obligation as being lower or not meeting a requirement in the kidney argument. You think your child's life is more important than that of the person's life. Yeah, I guess, but then assigning weight to those things, I think, might become incredibly arbitrary. Like, that's the problem.
My ability to evade.
Oh, hey, it is just...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, wow. Okay, welcome to TeamSpeak. Please choose a nickname. Destiny. Push to talk.
Oh, shit. It's my push to talk. Is this my push to talk? What the fuck's my push?
Testing. Oh, shit. Okay.
Should we hang up on Skype or something? It's just mute.
Yeah, we'll just, we'll hang up, and then I'll drag you in there. Make sure your name is right, okay?
Yeah, it's just Charles. It's not 77.
Got it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hang up now.
Right.
Connected.
Oh, God, no.
User joined your channel. User left your channel. Channel switched. Insufficient permissions. Insufficient permissions. User joined your channel.
Wow, what's up, buddy?
Buddy? Sorry about the microphone issues.
Channel.
All right, what do you got?
Is this working in here?
Okay.
Yep. Okay,
so
go ahead.
my argument is basically the fundamental idea that a fetus isn't really a human being. You define a human being as a collection of cells that are objectively human genetics. I disagree on the point that a human being is a combination of, like, the fact that they are biologically human, their context within human society.
User left your channel.
What I mean by that is a human being is a lot of it comes down to their relationships within human society.
Okay, wait a second. Before we dive into all of this, do you have a good answer for the kidney thing?
Oh, for the kidney thing? That's kind of a moral gray area. Can you repeat the question exactly?
So, do you think that if somebody were to come up to you and say, "Hey, I need a kidney in order to survive," do you think that they're entitled to your kidney?
Technically, I'd say my right to biological independence precedes their right to life.
Okay, so then the obviously the translation then would be: do you think a fetus has a right to demand space and utilization of a mother's body? And if yes,
I say no, but I say that for other rationalizations.
Oh well, then
he brought him in to debate me, but you're.
Wait, well, what's the point? This guy doesn't need any help right now. What the fuck?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about his points at all. I wasn't talking about a mother's right versus a fetus right. I was talking about how a fetus isn't a human at all.
Spit roasted.
Well, what the fuck? Well, I don't. Well, this is we're on this argument right now. What the fuck?
Okay, well, I can do this. All right.
Well, if you agree
Okay.
with him, there's not much to argue because I don't
Yeah,
have a point.
well,
I don't have anything to contradict it, and
Yeah, I don't know why you brought me in to talk to him.
I thought you said you wanted to come in here. Well, nice meme.
No.
Nice meme. Well memed.
Well means, friend.
All right. Well, I guess this ends here then for tonight, and I'll think more about it, Charos, and then in the future I will have an answer for you. Okay.
Yeah, just heads up, it's Charos, like charred meat or something like that.
Oh well, that's a pretty fucking shitty name, just like
Hey,
UI.
it's
So
from a character in fucking a board game. Thank you very much.
Oh, really?
now?
A
Look
board
up
game?
Heroescape.
Oh,
It's the best.
joined your
it's-
channel.
That's actually not that good, but
Hey,
it was
Des,
from when
Alright.
I was little.
Have fun, buddy. Rip on.
Could you?
Disconnected.
All right, Rip. I don't have a good answer for this right now. I really don't know. The baby isn't some magical accident that came out of nowhere and inconvenienced the mother. She was directly responsible for its conception. The kidney analogy is only appropriate for rape, Destiny. It is only appropriate for rape. So the argument would be, because the mother was responsible for conceiving the child, then that means that the mother this isn't actually what I'm hung up on right now. What I'm hung up on is if somebody were to come to me right now, if a family member of mine were to come to me and say, "Hey, I need a kidney to survive," like my gut would be to say no. But I don't, like, that's actually what I'm thinking about right now. Like, I don't really care about the abortion thing at the moment. I'm thinking of this right now because I really don't have like a good answer to this. If a family member were to come up to me and say, "Hey, I need a kidney to survive," I don't think I don't think I would say yes to that. I wouldn't want to. For Nathan, I would, but like for another family member, maybe for a parent, I don't think a parent would ask though. I don't feel like I don't understand on what rational grounds could I say no. On what rational grounds could I say, "I'm not giving you my kidney because I kind of like having both kidneys, so you have to die"? Like, on what rational ground could I say that? Like, that seems... Just because you feel morally obligated to do something because you would hope someone would do it if they were in that position doesn't mean you don't have the right to say no. The rational ground is that personal freedom is really important to have, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that I don't believe in personal freedom to the extent that you can shun other people that clearly need help. But I guess, like, at what point do you draw that line? Like, I think that how do you say this? If you were walking by, like, if you were driving down the interstate and you saw a car get into a bad accident and you just drove by, I don't think that you should be charged with murder, but like, morally, I think that if that person died and you could have stopped it, I think that morally that should weigh on you very heavily, almost to the point of you having killed them. I understand that you're not responsible for them crashing, but if you have the ability to intervene in something, especially in a way that doesn't really endanger you or put your life at risk, and you choose not to, I feel like that some degree of responsibility is conferred to you at that point. I'm just talking morally or ethically right now. I'm not talking about legal shit. I don't give a fuck about law right now. I'm just talking about, like, morally or ethically. Getting pregnant and wanting to abort is more analogous to voluntarily getting on a transplant list and revoking consent as soon as the recipient is found. On what basis does this responsibility exist? Well, because I don't think a person's convenience should overrule another person's ability to live. So, like, if a person's life was literally on the line and they needed a kidney from me, how could I possibly say no to that person? Holy shit. Never mind. We'll talk about this in like a week or two. I need a lot of time to think about this because I've never thought about this as much as I guess I should have before. Destiny, so what you're saying now is that you could donate all of your savings to a charity that can save lives. Now, if you just walk by and don't donate, the lives that die because you didn't donate should be on your conscience. Well, I mean, should they be? That doesn't make sense either, though. Why? I know that there's got to be something in philosophy that speaks to this a lot. I'm sure there is. There's got to be some guy that's been written. If you've got like really good things to read on this or whatever, like in my subreddit, if you want to make like a post or whatever. Somebody can make a post with like suggested stuff. Don't make like if there's like some like abstract or some like a few pages. I don't want like whole fucking books because I know that this is like a question that people in philosophy have argued with a lot, right? Because this is pretty central. But I never took a philosophy class. I have no fucking idea. A defense of abortion. I don't need a defense of abortion right now, though. Like, that's because that's like the currently winning argument. See, like, I understand this argument, but I guess I fall on the other side of the argument. In A Defense of Abortion, Thompson grants for the sake of argument that the fetus has a right to life, but defends the permissibility of abortion by appeal to a thought experiment. You wake up in the morning and find yourself back-to-back in bed with an unconscious violinist, a famous unconscious violinist. It really doesn't even matter that he's a violinist. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's relevant to the argument. But he has been found to have a fatal kidney ailment, and the Society of Music Lovers has canvassed all the available medical records and found that you alone have the right blood type to help. They have therefore kidnapped you, and last night the violinist's circulatory system was plugged into yours so that your kidneys can be used to extract poisons from his blood as well as your own. If he is unplugged with you now, he will die. But in 9 months, he will have recovered from his ailment and can be safely unplugged from you. Thompson takes it that you may now permissibly unplug yourself from the violinist, even though this will cause his death the right to life. Thompson says, even though this will cause his death, Thompson says this does not include the right, or his right to life does not, the way that the sentence is structured is really fucking bothering me. I'm just going to read it. Thompson takes it that you may now permissibly unplug yourself from the violinist, even though this will cause his death. The right to life, Thompson says. Oh, I understand. Shouldn't that be a semicolon? The right to life, Thompson says, does not include the right to use another person's body, and so by unplugging the violinist, you do not violate his right to life, but merely deprive him of something, the use of your body, to which he has no right. But I don't know if I agree with that. If I was in a scenario where I was next to somebody and they had a machine hooked up to me so that my kidneys were helping this person survive, and then I could make it out in whatever, in some amount of time, and then that person be alive, I have a really hard time thinking for myself, well, fuck this guy, like he doesn't have a right to my shit, and then I would just get up and leave and he would die. And so I would essentially be avoiding an inconvenience for myself, and then that person would be dead. I don't understand. I don't know. That's like a really difficult. These analogies are fallacious as fuck. No, it's not even close to being a fallacious analogy. It's a perfect analogy, I think. It fits perfectly fine. Can we please explore the consent part? The consent part isn't even relevant right now, though. Moral weights. You deal with complicated choices, and then you deal with them in more rigorous ways. This analogy doesn't take into account the fact that you participated and chose to have a kid. But I don't know if you participated and chose to have a kid. I don't know if that really matters. I don't know. The argument you're looking for is whether or not it has a risk to you. Donating has a non-zero risk. Yeah, sure, but you could argue that being pregnant has, or pregnancy has a non-zero risk. How is this not relevant? The mother becomes morally obligated to carry out the pregnancy because she's directly responsible for it. Yeah, but why wouldn't she be able to change her mind? Why wouldn't she be able to say, like, oh, well, fuck this, actually. I don't want to be pregnant anymore, and then abort the child. Destiny, it's really hard for me to believe you would give your body parts to dying people. Well, I know, because I don't think I would, but I'm just saying that now I don't understand how I would approach that decision. If somebody would have come to the door tomorrow, I don't think, this is going to sound autistic as fuck, but for the most part, I don't think I've made any big decisions in my life, or I don't, like, usually I try to act like with moral consistency for decisions that I do. I think that if somebody says, if somebody says one thing and then when the time comes to like make a big decision, they like totally fucking go the other way, I feel like then that person is a spineless bitch who has no opinion or right to say anything. So what I'm thinking like is if somebody came to my door tomorrow and they said like, hey, there's a member in our community, he's a real upstanding guy, he's a super cool dude, he's 30 years old, he volunteers, he's all these great things, and he's going to die if he doesn't get a kidney transplant. We have a surgery on hand where we can take your kidney and do it. The risks of this surgery are less than 1%. There's a very, very, very small chance of you dying. And if you were to look at an expected value, right, if you were to graph out like what is the highest expected value for the number of people to survive, it's very, very heavily in favor of you donating the kidney. I feel like my gut would very obviously be to say like, no, fuck you, I'm not just going to donate my kidney to a random person. Like, fuck that shit, no. But then like morally, on what grounds do I have to deny him my kidney over... like just because I don't want to be inconvenienced by the surgery. Consider that a very important part of this knowledge is that you uniquely have the blood type necessary for this violence. Oh shit! I'll just give me like I need like a week. I need like a week or two to think about this because this is a really heavy topic. I have to weigh this. I have to think about this a lot to come up with like any coherent or well thought out answer. I'm gonna go get a drink. I'll be right back. I can't do it now. This is something I have to think about for a while. Sorry. If you have anything that you want to link on my server or whatever, I'll read over it. But I don't know the answer to this. It actually made me really uncomfortable the last time we looked at that philosophy thought experiment, or that it was like an intro to philosophy class where the guy talked about the train thing, and I didn't really know the answer for that either, which was really uncomfortable. If there was one person that you could push in front of a train, or actually, this was the better argument. I don't know the answer to this. This is crazy. This is a crazy thought experiment. If there was a train. Let's say that there was a train, okay? And there were 4 people standing on this track, and there was 1 person standing on this track. Let's say that there was a train that was driving on this track, going in this direction, and you had the option to pull a lever here. You were standing here, and you could pull a lever here to change the direction of this train. Do you do it? I don't understand. I don't know what the answer is to this question, because this guy was fine and was never going to die, and then these 4 people are fucked. But you could pull the lever, which is essentially murdering him and saving these 4 people. Like, how do you... I don't know the answer to that question. It's called the trolley problem? Oh. This is a non-question, of course, but it's not a non-question because the one person was never going to die. The one person was totally fine and never going to die. And then the other 4 people are going to die. But if you have the opportunity to sacrifice one... Well, okay, no, because that... Oh, shit! So, Pune Lawyer, you said this is a non-question. Of course you kill the one person. Okay. That's a really interesting thing that you say there. So let's say that you have 4 people. 1 guy needs a heart, 2 people need a kidney, and 1 person needs a set of lungs, okay? Let's say that you had the option to kill that 1 person to donate all of those things to save 4 people. Pune Layer, would you do it? Because that's essentially the same thing, right? You save the 4 people. That's the rational decision. We just have naturally built in aversion to taking part in it. But then what do you say? But then what would you say against killing 1 person to use their organs to save 4 to 10 people or whatever? Destiny, definitive answer to the trolley problem? Multi-tractor. Kill yourself. I think this is the video that we watched. But I don't think... Fuck. But this guy doesn't actually give a definitive answer, right? Wasn't this guy's point that there wasn't... Holy shit, it's me in the audience. I knew I was in this class somewhere. No. Wasn't this guy's point that there was no... I thought we listened to this whole thing on stream, didn't we? Wasn't this guy's point that there was no definitive answer, that different philosophers would answer the question differently? Destiny, in your analogy, it's that person's choice, and the train problem, it's an outside choice. Okay, well, like, let's say that you have... This isn't convoluted. It sounds convoluted, but it's not. Let's say that you were a doctor in a hospital. Too many variables. You don't know enough about both parties to make decisions on who lives and who dies. If it's 4 people... No, we're not... It doesn't have to be that complicated. Let's say that you're a doctor, okay? And you have 4 patients that are in your hospital, and all of them need an organ, okay? And then let's say you have 1 other person here. These 4 people are 100% going to die, okay? Unless, if using your doctory, you kill this person to transfer the organs to these people. Are you morally obligated then to do it? To save these people? Or do you let this person recover and live, and then all 4 of these people die? If you answer yes here, that, well, that person, you don't have to do that, is your answer consistent with the train problem then, where you can pull a lever to make a train going into 4 people instead crash into the 1 person? Is your answer consistent? Like, because I feel like these are the same kinds of question. Hippocratic oath has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Please don't be so fucking dense. Holy shit. If we kill the guy, does he agree to be killed for the organ donation, or is it against his will? We would assume that it's against his will. Suffering, whatever, is irrelevant. It's just that they would die. Let's not. You let the 4 people die. So now people are saying you leave the 4 people to die because they were standing on the track of a live train. They answered it. Dharma, you were talking about this earlier. Do you think there's a definitive answer that's good for you? I know you're fucking in here lurking on the bot. Jesus fuck. Destiny, I disagree. In one situation, someone will die no matter what. The trolley thinking experiment. In the organ case, you aren't obligated to... No. In the organ one, these 4 people will die 100% if they don't get the donations. However, the one person will only die if you pull the lever and take their organs. You can choose whatever you want logically, at least morality is dependent on who you ask. I would let the 4 people die because it's epic. I'm a utilitarian through and through, kill the donor. So if you were in a position, Dharma, where somebody were to come to you needing a kidney, then you wouldn't have a ground. You would have to logically concede that you should give it in every scenario. Not assuming that it's not like a drug-dealing hippie that's going to die instantly, or it's not somebody who lost their kidney because they were raping children and their kidney gave out, fighting off all the fucking HIV flowing through the body. You know, assuming that it was like a normal... Believe it or not, I want to donate my kidney. Yeah. Huh. So then I'm curious. Okay, so then I'm curious. Are you pro or anti-abortion? Or pro-choice or pro-life, or however the fuck you would want to phrase it? What if you save the 4 people by giving them organs and then the next day they're killed on some train tracks? Ah, fuck. Ah, shit. I haven't been stumped on like a moral issue in a long fucking time, except for when we watched this train thing last. Ah, shit. I have to think about it a lot over the next few weeks. Fuck me and cuck my shit, fam. It's good though, I think. Okay, I'm gonna get a drink and use the restroom. I'll be back in 3 minutes, and then we'll play actual XCOM. Sorry. We're... Who is Destiny voting for in 2016? I don't know. I thought I was going to vote for Bernie Sanders because I thought that like socialism and helping people out and shit was a good idea, but now I'm not sure. Now I'm thinking maybe I need to go back to being a full-on libertarian because people aren't entitled to other shit. I don't know. Fuck. I don't know. Holy shit. Maybe libertarianism and insane capitalism is actually like the way to go. A short video on the trolley problem. He answers it at Destiny.
Get into the new with Ford.
The reason why this is like such a conundrum, I guess, is this has the most fedora fucking tip and fucking thing ever, right? This is the way that I try not to like I try to like do all of my moral and ethical shit. This is gonna sound really pretentious, but so this is going to sound insanely fucking pretentious, okay? I understand this. But when I was growing up and I made the journey from being very religious to being very atheist I am now, I made like a really concerted decision to stay away from reading about a lot of philosophy, okay? This sounds really fucking stupid, but my thought process growing up was I wanted to think certain ideas. I wanted to have ideas about morals and ethics, and I wanted to think and think and think about them. And as I grew up, I wanted my life and my constant thoughts on them to kind of change that, and for me to grow as a person into what I felt was like the morally best way for me to be. Right? That's kind of how I thought growing up. And what I was scared of was I didn't want to get into a spot where I thought I had like a really cool idea about morals or ethics, and then go and read up a bunch on it to just get more and more heavily rooted into that philosophy. Right? That was something that always scared me. I didn't want to be like, okay, well, because there were moments in my life where I was on like extreme like nihilistic binges. I didn't want to get into nihilism and then go and find all these philosophers on it, because I can find people that are much more well-read and much more eloquent than me, and then just sit there for the rest of my life like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I was nihilist, and then I read all these nihilistic things, and now here I am. Forever I'm going to be stuck in this, right? I didn't want to do that. So I went out of my way to avoid I never read up on philosophy in high school. I had a friend, there was a chick that read a lot of Ayn Rand, and I did a little bit of that, but like I didn't really get into like objectivism, like fucking hardcore anything. For the most part, I kept my thoughts independent of that. But like the thing that I enjoyed was that all of my thoughts have always sprung out of other thoughts, right? Like there was a point in high school where I thought that like, well, life is objectively meaningless, and everything is pretty much meaningless, and that was right when I was relatively nihilistic, as nihilistic as you can be as an edgy fucking teenager, right? Well, life is pointless or whatever, right? This is where like when my friend wanted to kill himself, it's like, well, whatever, dog, life is worthless. Like, I mean, I can't really tell you not to, because you know life has no value, right? That was part of me saying that came out of that point of view of my life, right? And then later on in life, I figured out like, okay, well, hey, even if life might be objectively worthless, you can create meaning for yourself, and we can all live in ways to make ourselves happy, right? And I kind of moved on to that. And then eventually, I guess, for whatever happened, eventually I ended up here, right? I think this is what it's called. I don't know. This seems to be like what the closest thing is to what I guess. Like basically the way that it goes is anything that I think that I want or demand for myself in terms of a personal right, I have to demand for other people, because that's the most morally consistent way to live my life. So I don't want somebody to steal my shit, so I won't steal somebody's shit. I'm not going to hit somebody with my car because I don't want somebody to hit me with their car. I'm not going to murder and kill somebody for no good reason because I don't want somebody to murder and kill me for no good reason, right? That's typically how all of my moral arguments go, right? If I was poor as fuck, I would want a rich person to help me out a little bit because they can afford money. If I was a rich person, right, which I am relatively well off now, I don't mind paying more in taxes and doing things because, yeah, I'll help people out. Because it's fine. Because if I was in a fucked up position, I would want to be able to, and I've been in fucked up positions, and I would want help. But now, like in looking at this, I don't know what the correct answer is from. I don't know what the correct answer is from this point of view. If I was the one person here, I wouldn't want to be killed to save other people, and I wouldn't expect other people to want to be killed to save me. But on the other hand, if I was here as these people, I wouldn't want to die with 3 other people just because one other person thinks his life outweighs all 4 of us. Like, so this is like a really weird, this is like a really strange, because usually, like, for the most part in my life, I can apply this algorithm to any question, even to difficult questions, and I can usually come up with an answer pretty simply. It's very easy to generate like a system of answers, or like a system of ethics that will generate answers that will be logically and morally consistent in your life. You know, like, do you think that taxes are morally right? Well, yeah, sure, because I don't mind paying taxes, because if I was a poor fucked person, yeah, I would want to get help. Yeah, sure. Like, it's very easy to generate answers from this. Like, do you think that murdering is right or wrong, or raping is right or wrong, or forcing your religion on someone is right or wrong? Well, no, of course not, because I wouldn't want anyone to do it to me. But for an issue like this, I guess, or for the abortion thing or for the kidney thing, I don't really know. I don't think that I can have I feel like I can't have a correct answer, because I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it. Why does everything have to be consistent? Because if you're not consistent, you should fucking kill yourself. Being morally or ethically consistent being consistent in all of your thoughts should be the number 1 priority in your life. Consistency is literally your like intellectual vertebrae, like your spine. And if it's off, like everything is fucked. I think that being consistent in all of your thoughts is literally the most important thing you can do for yourself as a human being, in my personal opinion. If I ever have anything that I feel like I'm inconsistent on, it absolutely drives me crazy, unless it's a streaming schedule. But real talk, consistency for me personally, I think consistency is very, very, very important. The most important thing. That's why when you hear me argue, when I was probing the Charos guy, or when I was probing the Smash guy, why I would ask them to apply their thing to other scenarios, to ensure that they were being morally consistent, right? The first guy wasn't very consistent. The second guy was very consistent. If a genie told you the Holocaust could be reversed if someone was killed, what would you say? Yeah, like, that's a really interesting question. If you could go back in time and kill Hitler before he'd done anything wrong, would you do it? I don't know. Can you go back in time to kill somebody who hasn't done anything wrong yet, but will, like... But this gets into like the what was that movie with Tommy Cruise with the balls and the cog balls? Minority Report, that's it. Can you imagine how powerful the Jews would be today if it wasn't for Hitler? All that territory that Germany took at the height of their empire in World War II would all be owned by Israel. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Ah, fuck. All right. Can we just play video games? You're not meant to be stumped on saving one guy with a leather. That is the non-question. The problem demonstrates that people change their mind when they have to actively push the guy. I understand what you're saying, MQVX. I might sound a little bit arrogant saying that, but I believe that any intelligent person would be stumped on saving the one guy with the leather. I think that the reason why you have to go one farther is because most people are very stupid and they don't think through their actions very much. Because in reality, there is no difference between pushing one guy. Well, do I want to make this statement? There is no difference between pushing one guy in front of the train versus pulling the lever and changing the track, right? It's just a different way of framing the same question to catch somebody who's not thinking correctly, I think, right? In my opinion, I don't know, fuck. Oh, let's just play XCOM, I think. This almost becomes quantum mechanics shit? No, it doesn't. What the fuck? Holy shit, how long have we gone without being cuxed, guys? This is like a holiday cucks miracle. Fun story about utilitarianism. Terrorists kidnap a Russian head of state. Their special forces kidnap the terrorist family and torture them until the terrorists give up. Is it okay to punish innocent people to save the Russian leader's life? I mean, if the terrorist family people, I think that your question becomes a little bit more easy to answer because you start to assign like responsibilities to people. Like for your question, Dharma, I feel like that's like saying like, okay, so like here's a different way to frame that same question, kind of like with the train track question. Let's say that there are 4 people that are playing dangerous games on a railroad track, and they know that they're playing dangerous games. And then you have another person who's walking in a way that he knows he'll never get hit by the train, and he's very safe and responsible, and he's walking in a way that he knows he'll be safe. And then let's say that there's that train is coming to kill 4 people who are being irresponsible and dangerous, and then you could redirect it to only kill 1 person who's not being irresponsible and dangerous, right? At that point, I think it's much easier. I think it actually becomes very easy when you start assigning responsibility to say like, okay, the 4 people will die because they knew the risks, they took on the risks, and that's part of what they're doing. And the 1 person doesn't deserve to be fucked just because the other 4 people are making poor choices, I think. You know, I feel. So when you talk about like terrorist family, it depends on like how involved the terrorist family are. Like if they're like legit like all involved in the organization and they know what's going on and they're complacent with everything that's going on with the terrorists, and then they get captured. I mean, at that point they've kind of given up the ability for it to be considered like an even trade. You know. Destiny, isn't the real problem that the train question is someone you know? No, I think that's only for weak-minded people that need it to be that way for it to be a difficult thing, because some people might be comfortable killing a stranger, I guess. I don't think that changes the problem at all. I don't think. In my opinion, but maybe I'm being a little bit... Why do you not comment on my opinion? Click funny guy. Oh, I don't even see it here anymore. Rip. I love you. Given that you said you'd make an exception and morally allow or accept such allow abortion, when life is in danger, then brought up, how can I be morally right if I don't get my organs to someone who suddenly died? At what level of risk do you yourself become morally bound to give up your organ? I don't know, Tassadar. The stance of the trolley, if you want to look at it, is so black and white. It's that it wouldn't be your choice in the first place. You don't have to touch the lever at all. Even if it does, kill off the 4 people, it was not your obligation to save them. But I don't think that's true. Personally, I don't believe in that. If you drove by and somebody in front of you spun off the road and got into a car accident, I really do believe that you have to stop and help that person. You have to stop your car and get out and see if there's something you can do. I really strongly feel that way. If I got into a car accident and everybody just drove by me and I ended up dying there, like that would suck. Like I wouldn't want you to fucking drive by me. So if I was driving and somebody got fucked and drove off, that would be fucking horrible. Like, of course I would stop and see if I could call an ambulance or what's going on and stop and do what I can, right? Because it's just a minor inconvenience for you and it's potentially saving somebody else's life, right? This happens all the time. It's called diffusion of responsibility. Yeah, that's the psychological phenomenon where if you have a crowd of people that are witnessing something horrible, no one in the crowd ever feels individually responsible because they diffuse the responsibility to the crowd. And then they don't feel like they were ever personally obligated to do anything. Diffusion of responsibility is a socio-psychological phenomenon where a person is less likely to take responsibility for action or inaction when others are present. Considered a form of attribution, the individual assumes that others are either responsible for taking action or have already done so. Yeah.